Oh my goodness. Wow.
He might call.
Wow. Welcome, everyone. Here we go. It is quite a Tuesday, Election Tuesday in the U.S., a massive day. Thank you for joining us. We got Eugene Katchalov. Very honored to have him here. He's been a while, not so much into poker. Now he's diving back in, and great to have you here, man. Over 9 million in lifetime earnings, and you've taken a break and you're back. So great to have you. Thank you for being here.
Thanks, Jeff. Yeah, it's great to be back, and this is going to be a fun commentary, I think. So good to see you, man.
Yes, you too. 10K buy-in, play into a winner, no deal making, and we have got, again, of course, big prizes, over 300,000 a first. A guy who is in amazing form, Krensky. We'll look at him a little bit more coming up. Jan Zarin, some other household names here as always, and we can see the winner from last week. First time winner, first final table. That's a good way to do it. Only 7 appearances. Probably going to be seeing more of him. This man, D. Kravchenko, got the win, did it in style. Very impressive, very loaded final table last week. We're going to take a look at his winning hand. You can see he only had 29 big blinds to start, came from a little bit back of the pack, and here we go. Look at this. Krensky, who is our chip leader today, took second last week, so in great form, and here it is with the 10-7. We get to see a limp pot from Krensky on the button and bottom 2 pair. Nice to make a pair, let alone 2 pair, and hold them. So he does just click call, turn king. A little more scary of a board. Gonna go ahead and slip some rope over there. Krensky, we get a mystery hand here at the moment as he is just checking. And what do you think here on this kind of board? You like raising or just calling? Pretty wet board.
Yeah, I mean, it really depends on you know, the guy's limping range pre-flop. I think it's probably like pretty. He might not even have a raising range with 20 big blinds heads up, which I think is like a right strategy. So he's got a lot of ace-x, and the big blind who checks doesn't have that many ace-x. I think I like check calling both streets just to give him rope to shove on the river. Just because,
sure.
You want to protect your hands. You want to protect your range when you're not that strong on this board.
Yeah, and you keep in the bluffs, and of course the ace-x, right? Ace-x is going to have a hard time not thinking it's the best hand and go for value. So you kind of get the best of both worlds. Really do like how it played. And of course the 5 of hearts, no jack, no queen, no diamond, no board counterfeit. So really just a great river card here. And I think Krensky, if I remember correctly, had the ace-x, ace-deuce if it was. I'm not sure, but yeah, ace-deuce. So he does. I think he was generally debating to go for a check or the value there, but I really like how that was played and a great clean run out, and we get to see a title. First time winner, battling with some amazing players last week, so really impressive to get the win. And again, only 7 appearances takes it down. So that is a look at our hand from last week, and we will be diving into the all-time ranking on GGMillion. No player here today, of course, Triton going on. There's some huge high stakes action going on. A lot of players that we are so privileged to see play every week. A lot of those players are competing in that over in Monaco. So I think that's a little bit of reason we might see none of these names here today. But either way, there's so many great players, and we're going to get to take a look at all of the final table players today, starting with our 9th place player, and we will see that right after the payouts. Look at this, 312, man. Do you remember this, Eugene? You used to play online. You played a lot of tournaments live back in the day, but seeing an online poker tournament on a Tuesday, 300,000 a first, 10K buy-in from a Sunday, but on Tuesday, pretty incredible. Just seeing where poker is today, and maybe that's what's brought you back, right? To get you back interested in. There's a lot of money. Guarantees are up. 50 million guaranteed. Bahamas, WSOP setting records, online setting records. We're gonna save the thought for later, but I'm wondering if this is why you're diving back in. The money and it's exciting. It's an exciting time in poker. As we'll hold that thought. And let's take a look now at our 9th place participant today, Felipe Ketzer, Brazilian. Something you'll notice on the GGMillion almost every week, Brazil and Austria representation at the final table. It's almost a guaranteed, and you can see 72 appearances, no wins, only 1 final table, 7 million in GG earnings, but the GGMillion has eluded him from a ton of success and is the short stack today with 12 big blinds. So we'll see if Felipe can get it going and make a very important final table into a bigger score. We've seen last week some big success from some of the 7th, 8th, 9th players sort of spin it up. Let's take a look at our 8th place. And this is a man, GTO Lab. I don't know if you're familiar with this. This is sort of newer. We've had a lot of talented players that are involved. Ben Heath is a coach for them. We have Also Jonathan Jaffe, one of the main people involved, as well as Nick Petrangelo, and also, if I'm not mistaken, Daniel DeVoris was joined us. All these guys have been on as guests recently, and they're part of GTO Lab. So a very cool product that is out, and that is someone that is being repped today from Breno Bertaglia, who, look at this. I mean, Eugene, that's pretty good stats. 1 appearance, 1 cash, 1 final table. Let's see if he can get the magic, all ones across, and take it down. Another Brazilian, Vamos Gente. A lot of Brazilians out there. I know they're watching. And my wife's Brazilian. I'm a big fan of Brazil, of course. So we're gonna be rooting for Brazil today in my heart, and they're our 8th place. So 9th and 8th Brazil. Let's see if we can get another country involved in 7th. Who do we got? This is I Am Businessman. You know Zlatan. You got to know about Zlatan, right? Soccer. You follow this. I mean, that's a strong picture and a pretty good resume here. 29 appearances, 8 cashes, 2 final tables, and also a starting stack of 34 blinds. Pretty healthy and a good resume. 6 million plus on. I mean, look at these numbers, Eugene. Just casual 6 million on GG. That's just GG, not live.
It's incredible.
Not other sites, and just really amazing.
Poker's come a long way.
Here. Long way, man. This would be like the top earner back when we were growing up in the online. This is just a normal resume here. So, all right, we'll take a look. I Am Businessman. Haven't seen him for a while. Talented, fun player. Let's see how he will fare today as we go to our next opponent, the next player here. Splendid, someone who, again, haven't seen a lot of. 1 final table. Has had some experience here in the first final table. So 8 cashes, 28 appearance. Don't know much about this. Will be one of the sort of unknowns. 35 big blinds, plenty of chips to work with, and we'll see how they do today as they are going to battle for that 300,000 plus first place. Who we got next? We're getting ready to do some hands here in a second. We've still got a few more. Again, Sangu 227, 4 appearances, 1 final table. That is today. Never cashed in the GGMillion. Never a dollar earned. Going for 300,000 a day. Again, sort of a fun one today, Eugene, when there's unknowns. I love the household names, Mateos, and these guys that are crushing, but it's also fun to see players break in, maybe satellite in, and or just take a shot and try to hit a huge score and compete with the best players. 36 big blinds, so very similar stack to the other Splendens and I Am Businessman. And let's go to Ravid here, who is someone who also is in good form. We've seen recently 2 wins, a lot of appearances. That's not re-entries. That is actual appearances. It's a lot of Sundays that has participated. 129 of those, 33 cashes, 12 million in GG earnings, 3.2 million, 45, 2 final tables in a row, and also took down the 100K at the WSOP. So, I mean, pretty impressive stuff. Definitely knows how to play. And maybe a name. Are you familiar with Ravid or no? I think a little newer and not one of the ones you probably played.
Probably a little newer, but I'm sure looking at these stats, I'm sure someone really good.
Yes, it is a very talented player, and that is.
It'll be interesting to see how they adapt also to like all the new players. Like I think it's always fun to have a table that's like a mix of good players and bad players, because I think it's nice to see how if good players can choose exploitative strategies versus the weaker players, or if they're just trying to play like the best GTO type strategy.
For sure. And I think that's one of the cool parts about poker, too. The gap is narrowed. There's a lot of new players up and coming. Some of these players that we're unfamiliar with, maybe, they could be, kind of an emerging star, right? That have crushed the stakes, the $50, $100, $500 MTTs, taking shots and coming in and have a new thing. So I think that's why poker's in such an exciting place, that there's sort of this new breed coming into. And because guys like your age, you're in your mid-30s, late 30s?
I'm 43, but it's always been like that in poker, right? It's always been like where someone new comes up and no one understands what they're doing. It's something like kind of outrageous, and like everyone thinks it's kind of silly at first, and then they're like, oh, and it takes a while for them to catch up. So it's kind of interesting the way poker works. So I think you should always kind of look out for stuff like that.
Well, and I mean, I'm late 30s, so you're early 40s. I know we grew up basically in the early 2000s. We were sort of there at the poker boom, and we used to play a lot together. And that's what I'm saying. It's fun because sort of guys, I would say guys our age, there's sort of been, it's that time you have families, fiancés, wives, this type of kids, and there's a little less maybe playing. So these new guys coming in mixed with sort of the original OGs, and it's fun, right? So you kind of get this new breed that's coming in. And I think poker is in a really cool place. So we'll see Ravid today if he's able to finish it. He's already done it twice on the GGMillion. Let's take a look at our next player, who is someone I think you are familiar with, Jans Aarons. Just an absolute insane person here. 170 appearances. That's 3 years of Sundays he's participated in this tournament. Plus, he has over 37. He has 37 cashes, 3 wins, 17 million, Eugene, on GG. He also has almost 6 million live. Just an absolute insane player, and a lot of respect for him. His game, 51 big blinds, has to be one of the favorites, of course, top 3, and then with the experience kind of coming in there. So we're gonna get to see, I believe, a hand from Jans from this tournament. And again, we can't see the exact time, but it looks pretty early. Blinds are 1632. The stacks aren't huge, so this is a little bit on the earlier side of the tournament, as we will get to see him orchestrate the 4-5 hearts in the small blind. So it looks like Ramiro, I recognize him. I see a few also really tough players at this table, and that's a fun hand. That's one of those sort of cracker ace cracker hands.
Buldigan is also is really tough from what I remember. The big blind, Buldigan, he's a really tough player too.
Yep. Yeah, this is very much so, as we see people coming on right now. I want to remind you, I'm going to do a giveaway on Twitter as well. Jeff Gross Poker did put a tweet out there. You guys can get involved, retweet, comment on the show today, and I'm going to pick someone randomly from that. And then we also have 2 giveaways, 150 later in the show. So I want to invite everyone to hit the thumbs up, subscribe. And Eugene, where can we'll look at this hand here as he goes and pops it from the small blind. I want to ask people where they can follow you on social as well. So get that gathered. I know you got a lot going on. We got a long show. We got a lot to talk about today. So we're gonna see again first the 4-5 of hearts here come out raising first in, and then continuation betting on the 5-7 king. Couple backdoor draws there. Is this in line with what you like, or are you a little surprised you didn't limp and just came in raising?
I mean, I think given that he's chip leader and he's got, there's a lot of pressure. I mean, I don't know exactly the stage of the tournament, but I assume it's probably like either on the bubble or just past the money, and somewhere around there. So,
so
he can apply a lot of pressure too.
It's pretty early, I think. Because the chip count right now, for example, Jans is 2 million. So this is too big. This is actually very early stages of the tournament, I would say, like super.
Well, even then, I think with them being so deep, 5-4 suited is a great hand to open a raise with, because I think, it doesn't play that well out of position when you're limping and calling a raise, but it's kind of like a fairly disguised hand if you're the one who's showing aggression and raising into someone. So I think that's the kind of approach I would take. I like it.
Yeah, also very interesting here. He does block the nuts and has a pair, blocks 2 pairs. So this is, wow. I guess he's calling, considering it's a highlight hand. This is a wild call. Yeah. I guess he's putting him on 4x or 6x that missed, but
or 8-9
here. Yeah, 6-8. Maybe he's got 6-8 or
6-9. 6-8, 8-9, 6-9. Maybe some sort of backdoor, 3 suited, on the flop. Hands like, I'm trying to think, maybe like I don't know, Queen 10 of diamonds or something. Well, not Queen 10, like Queen 9 of diamonds. Yeah, 3-6 probably suited. doesn't bluff. Maybe 3-6 doesn't bluff. Maybe it does, but I mean, with a 3, he's probably looking to.
He did raise pre-flop as well, right? So it'd have to be 3-6. But anyway, there's definitely hands here. It's a highlight hand. We can. This is an insane call. It looks like he is going to call, right? He's one of the chip leaders, and this is a highlight hand. So I don't think this is to show us he's folding this spot. And I'm look at that, the 8-4, just absolute savage call, and just wow, that's high level. That's a nice starter highlight hand to see how he got on the way to getting to his chip stack. But what a player, what a moment. That's a big highlight hand to start there. So wow, quite a call, well played, as that is again our 3rd place player, who I think is by far has the most experience live and online, and is going to be in good position here today with the huge stack. Let's take a look at our 2nd place. Jack Johnson is the name. 2 final tables, pretty good, 100% in the money, 100% final table. Just doing it all. Just needs the win to check up on that. He also got 3rd place in 2024 week 4 October. So in good form here, as he is in 2nd place, and a impressive resume so far. I mean, that's quite a statistic, as we will take a look at a hand from Jack Johnson here, who is, there we go, some deeper 30K, 60K blind. And this is much deeper in the tournament, where we see 2 or 3 tables left. I guess this would be potentially probably in the money, but I would guess right in that range. Again, we can't, based on the highlights, we aren't able to see the exact moment of the tournament. But again, Pavel world-class player. Hey, Allison there, the Brazilian AP on the left. Jan's there lurking on the button, folds in. Here we go, blind on blind. One of the more interesting spots in poker, and one of the ones we see the widest ranges, as we just got to see last hand, blind on blind. Let's see what happens here with the 8 deuce.
Especially here with under 10 big blinds. Yeah, it's like interesting.
Yeah, and Splendid's covering significantly. Does limp in. Gives 8 deuce
this is
a opportunity.
Typically from the small blind, I think that's either a super weak hand or like a super strong hand. So it's like, it's rare that there's something in between, because it's like, with the big blind having, I mean, how many, like 7 big blinds? I think you're just going to see a shove from the small blind very, very often. With a very wide range.
Yeah, agreed. This is, again, a player we don't know. Splendid's not as much experience. We know that they are at the final table in 6th place today. So 1.6 at the moment, you can see, was one of the bigger stacks. And here he is going to keep going. It looks like on the 4 of spades. Stack to pot ratio for Jack is about 1. And he's in a, hard to make a pair and hold him. He's got the 8 deuce, flush possible, straight possible, bad kicker on the 8. Not a fantastic hand at the moment. Does make 2 pair, and a spade would not be good for him. Let's see what happens here on the river as he's got 2 pair.
I mean, I'm guessing he's probably going to get shoved on. He's going to make a nice hero call. Oh, or not. Okay.
All right, so we see a check, and let's see, does he go for some value or does he check? Pretty scary board. 368. I guess he thinks that, I mean, this would be thin. That's for sure.
This is thin, yeah, but
yeah, I'd be a little surprised to see a bet here. And
trying to think of what you're getting value from.
Yeah, I guess ace-x without a spade, but that's, again, pretty specific, scary as well. And let's see what happens.
Yeah, and you got to expect that hand doesn't bet the turn.
Yeah, I'm not sure. This is definitely this is quite a bet. Let's see if he gets called, and if it would be. It was a limp though. Also, what ace? That's what I'm thinking. A lot of ace-x in this covering by a lot. You just rip pre-flop. So like, I don't think there are too many just like ace-x. And then it's getting even more specific. So this
and the ones that are like trapping for whatever reason, or maybe like the ace-x suited, which you can discount here, because like ace king of hearts, for example, I think it's just gonna bet.
Wow.
Very nice. Yeah, this is really, really nice. Beautiful.
All right, I'll put that on my side. That's on my notes. That is absolutely thin, and just GGMillion specifically. 38 appearances, 5 final tables, and a player very fun to watch. And we will get to see a hand now from this man who at the 25K 50 level, again, you can see only 6-handed. So I guess we were probably 3 tables left here, as the stacks are big but not huge, and the blinds are less than that 30K, 60K. So yeah, probably was like 19, left, or right in there, 18, somewhere in that part of the tournament, as we get a hand. This hand always gives me trouble. Ace queen off, tough hand. You're here 6-handed, so a little nicer than like 9-handed. Ace queen, pretty big hand in the small blind, and we get to see.
Yeah, I think the thing that makes it easier, I guess, is when you're short, when everyone's kind of relatively short, so you're probably not folding this hand at any point. So
No, for sure. Not without raise, re-raise, or some kind of aggressive actions. Yeah. This is definitely a spot now on the button. You're feeling better and better about the strength of your hands. And we are seeing Philippe on the button here, who is our 9th place player. I Am Businessman also made the final table. Bruno also made the final table, and Sonju. So, yeah, again, 2-3 tables left, and ace queen off. About even stacks here, blind on blind.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like here, yeah, I guess we were discussing the previous hand, like what kind of hands people limp from the small blind with, and I guess this is like one of the strong options when you're, I guess, like 25 big blinds effective.
Yeah, definitely. This is a semi-trap-ish hand. If you get raised, you're looking to play back, but as played, does check back, and here we go. We got the 8-4 deuce, ace queen high. Sort of guessing now, right? Your opponent has.
Yeah, it's good to check. It's good to check the small blind, just because this kind of board is probably better for the big blind who checks back. There's probably not really any reason to bet. Better off to check calling on the flop. I like the check.
Yeah, you also see generally big blind strategy, kind of raise your absolute worst and then best hand. So maybe thinks he has more of like a queen 10, jack 9 suited, these type of hands that maybe
exactly, yeah.
So you still can feel pretty good, I guess, here with the ace queen at the moment.
Yeah, the bet on the turn I like. I mean, it's kind of like you can actually get some value from some king highs, or maybe even some ace highs. It's kind of less likely that the guy has any kind of pair. So I like the bet on the turn. This river is interesting. So now, yeah, I guess I like it actually, because like if he does have like a deuce or an 8, you're probably still gonna just like lose a bet. But the times he has like king high or queen high, you might gain the bet by betting. So I like this bet. It's like very thin value, but I kind of like it.
Yeah, targeting king highs. Also, there are some aces that do check back exactly. There you go, king high, king jack, and it didn't want to raise pre-flop. That is beating and a nice hand and a little bit hero-y there, but I see why I Am Businessman calls and also knows this player who we've seen now for 3 weeks in a row at the final table, who does have a lot of gears and shows a lot of aggression at times. So that's one of those things about being a fun, that you play a lot of hands, you get paid a little bit thinner too, and
absolutely
aware of the image. So we are seeing, again, a lot of players here that are in great form. This is going to be an absolute stacked final table. Let's take a look at the betting odds. I believe we get to check in on this right now. Yeah, this is fun. So this is from the client within GG, Eugene, and this is the priced odds. So you can actually wager if you are in a real money GG account. You can go in there and they price at the start what the odds to win are. So just let's do 100 units each. We get to pick 3 players. We can put a dinner on it if you're okay with that. And I'll let you start.
Sure.
And you can break up your 3 picks into 100 units, and I'll let you have the first pick. You're the guest.
All right, yeah, this is fun. This is another great kind of invention since the good old days.
People like to bet, man. Now it's becoming like it's fun. It's fun to see. See if
it
find
just
a
makes
value.
And it makes it more fun to watch too on the side for sure. I'm all for it. I mean, I gotta go with Jans just because he's like the guy I know the most. Even from he's just so good. Like it's just like I feel like I can't not choose him. He's just way too good.
I get it. I would have taken him, so that's a good pick. How much you putting on him?
All right, so let's do, I don't know, let's do 40 on Jans.
Okay, so 40. So that'd be so you'd get 240-ish if that were to on your units out of the 100. So that's a good bet. I like the bet size. I'm gonna go with Vaz Krensky's 3 final tables in a row. His last Hen and Mob's a win. He got second last week. I mean, the price isn't great, right? He's the favorite by far, but we got a dinner on the line, so I'm looking. That I'm gonna go with. I'll put 50 on that. It's conservative, but if he wins, I lock up a 50% profit on my unit. So that's my first pick. Who you got second?
All right. Let me go. For second, I'll go with Ravid. Let's go Ravid. Or let's go for 30, I guess.
30 on Ravid. All right, another about 240 coming. You're making good bet sizes. That's part of your game. I always remember that about you. That's a nice pick, Ravid. I'm feeling. I'm going to leave, man, it's supposed to, I guess I kind of have to take, I'm going to have to just go chalk here. I'm going to go jack. I just think I'm going to put, what's that? I'll put 40 on jack. So 6 to 1. Yeah, that's my second pick. And then you have one more. And what do you have? You have 20 left? Did you bet?
All right.
What'd you bet?
Yeah, I got 30 more. Let's put 30 on Splendens.
Splendens. All right. The unknown there, 11 to 1. That's a nice pad up it hits. I'm gonna go. I gotta pick at least Brazilian. So that's my 10 units on the 20 to 1 Bruno there in 8th place. So that's almost 20 to 1. That'll be a nice return. And those are my 3 picks. You got 3 for a dinner. The audience, of course, we are gonna have giveaways, $100 and a $50 ticket. Is there any value there? Looking at the 12 blinds down all the way up to the top, like anything here that you think is priced interestingly? Like they do take, I guess, skill. There's a formula, right? It's not just like chips and where you're at. So there is a GG formula that they factor everything in. Anything that does jump out based on the stack sizes that looks like a lot of value?
Based on the stack sizes, I'm sure that's probably already counted in the odds. Yeah. The only thing I would say is like, if I knew the players really well, I might, perhaps I have like a stronger opinion if someone's like a recreational and a pro, and like I'd be able to see maybe how someone can adapt to someone else, and if a pro has position on a recreational player. Maybe he's more of a favorite than he would be normally. So those are like the only adjustments I probably make. Otherwise, I'm guessing these odds are probably like calibrated already towards the big blinds.
Yeah, they're for sure. It's good. I got my man Luke Greenwood turning in bet on the show before he's over in Monaco firing. He's looking to get back on the show as a guest. Say hi to Luke. You play with Luke, right? You know Luke from back in the day, or was he
Yeah,
a little after you, or you battled with him a lot?
About the same time. He's another great player.
Yeah, he's been around. He's been around forever. How about live?
Absolutely.
For you,
Him and his brother.
What are you coming to any? Are you going to go to the Bahamas? They got this $50 million 25K. Are you going to make it out for that? Are you coming? Are you like diving?
I won't be able to make it out this year for Bahamas. I mean, I think I might be in Vegas because I have to be there anyways in the winter. So I might play the World Poker Tour Series there. It's not like I'm back being a professional poker player. It's not to that degree. But I definitely just want to come back and play a bit more, especially offline. That's kind of like what I really enjoy. So I'm kind of looking forward to that, and I'll probably take some time off, and then I'll probably be back for the World Series, in the summer, which I'm kind of looking forward to. What about you? How much poker are you playing these days?
I got the 2 little kids. It's less. I'm going to be going to the Bahamas. I know there's satellites as well right now. It's a $50 million 25.
That's incredible. That's incredible.
Like 2,000 people.
That is incredible.
It's like doesn't even make sense. Michael Kim is a bit nuts. Daniel says it even when you look at him do the promo. He actually is literally like, these guys are nuts. Like that is insane. What was the biggest 25K? You won one of the largest ever at Bellagio, if I'm not mistaken, early on in the day. Like you won one for what, 3 or 4 million or something like that, or some crazy
for $2.5 million. Yeah, it was a 15K. And that was huge. That was considered huge for like wait, was it? Yeah, what year back in those days, 2007. Wow. Getting like 700 players for that was insane. But now you're talking about a 25K with 2,000 players. That is really, really impressive. Yeah, it's honestly, it's incredible. Like what GGPoker has done, like taking over the World Series of Poker. I think you're going to see like offline poker grow to some really, really massive numbers. Kind of makes me excited about poker.
It is, and I know because again, we see some of these players that are a little more unknown. There are a lot of satellites on GG, and I do want to remind everyone there is a 1.5K satellite for the 26K package. There's actually 30, if I'm not mistaken. 50 packages guaranteed in that 1.5K satellite this weekend, which includes a 14-night stay in the luxurious, the Atlantis. You spent time there, PCA back in the day, had a lot of success there. So that is now where it's being taken place, and they've upgraded a lot. Because I remember, Baha Mar started doing some poker stuff, and then now Atlantis is doing this again the second time for the WSOP there, and it's upgraded. Atlantis that is a fun place, and it's nice to it's nostalgic for me too. I used to go every year to Atlantis for like 12 years, and then it stopped, and now it's back and better than ever with bigger prizes and all that good stuff. So hopefully you do come to the future Bahamas WSOP. I know Trayton's got stuff there, and I know you're getting a little more into poker, which we're going to talk about again in where your game's at these days and how much time you've been putting in. But I got to say, we got our dinner wager on the line. We're going to have some fun today. And just to remind everyone at home, it is winner take the prize. There's no deal making. There is deal making on GG, but not in the GGMillion. And this is from Sunday, 10K buy-in down to a winner. And it is, again, it's fast, it's furious, and it's going to be a winner announced today. 300,000+ to first place. What was your biggest online score ever, Eugene? Do you remember your biggest score? Because when you played, like what? Because the prizes are much different now. Yeah,
much different. I think my biggest was maybe like 150 or something. Up, not more than 200. I think that was probably
that used to be the biggest score, basically. Like you could hit a Sunday night, you could hit like if you won 200, that was like unheard of back in the day. Well, we have again got an action-packed final table. I like your pick with Jans. I'm hoping Veskrensky gets it done. I like that he is in elite form, and we are seeing some unknowns as well. Hopefully some of those Brazilians can make it interesting from the back of the pack. But we're going to take a very short break, and then we will dive right into the action, and we will see a winner today. So join Eugene and I after the break.
In case you haven't noticed, we're into breaking records at the World Series of Poker. Bigger and better is just how we roll. We did it this summer, as you saw, with the main event. Speaking of the main event, the WSOP just had a super idea for this year's WSOP Paradise in the Bahamas. For the first time ever, WSOP will host the super main event, a $25,000 buy-in with the biggest guarantee in the history of poker. Wait, is that number right? 50 million? What? 50 million? You guys are nuts, for real. Huge prize pools, massive water slides, fun for the whole family, and the chance to hunt bracelets with the beautiful backdrop of the Bahamas beaches just a few sandy footsteps away from the poker room. 15 bracelets will be on the line with buy-ins ranging from $2,500 up to $1 million. Yes, you heard that right, a $1 million buy-in. The WSOP has partnered with the Triton Millions to bring the largest poker tournament in WSOP history back home. So what are you waiting for? Come make history with us again at WSOP Paradise.
Welcome back. After, again, the pregame show, we've broken it down. We're going to look at the payouts and take a quick look at the players for the final table. 1.44 million in the prize pool, and a little bit after the WSOP online, we saw some crazy prizes. It was 1.9 to first. We saw over 4 million to first in the main event WSOP today. Still very healthy prize pool. 3, 12, 919 going to first. And again, the stack sizes distribution, we can see there was 144 total entries. Some players did have the option. Of course, everyone has the option to rebuy, so some of those exercise that. You can see the short stacks stay off 13 blinds all the way up to 87, and we will see some high octane action. We get to see the final table. I think we're going to take a look at the seat draw, which is a unique feature on GG Eugene, where based on your stack size, you get to pick. I'm not sure if we're going to get that again today. We got that last week, so we are going to get to see that. This is how it works. Once you make the final table, the 9th place has to pick first. So really not much to decide, right? You just take a seat, pick a spot, and then you go from there. So there is an advantage to be the chip leader. You get to kind of go to the left of the chip leaders if that's your best spot. Maybe it's a little bit different, but that's generally what we get to see. And this is sort of a unique process we do see with the GG. So we're getting to see that now. It's the second week in a row we're getting to do that. I like that. I like to see the gamesmanship. And if there is sometimes players that defer from just going on the direct left of the biggest stack at the end, but you can sort of start predicting a little bit how it shakes out. And there is some decision making on this. Have you ever seen this before?
I've seen it. I've never played it, in this way. But I imagine there's definitely a strategy here as well. I mean, you certainly want to sit to the left of, the big stacks, and to the left of the best players. So, and I assume if you're like a middle stack, you'll know that the chip leader is going to probably choose the same spot. So you don't choose against the chip leader. You're probably just choosing against the mid stacks, because chip leader is going to jump ahead of you anyways if needed. That's like kind of my guess at first.
Yeah. So we just saw Jan's, it looks like, change with get out of Veskrensky's way, and this is now Jack Johnson, and then Veskrensky will get to choose as so he actually time expired, so he just got to stay in his seat. I don't know, that could have been a function of he wasn't familiar with this or wasn't there, or just decided he wanted to stay. But Veskrensky, now you can see he does go to the direct left of Jan's errands, which is interesting because Jack Johnson, who is the second stack, he decided that it would be better served that seat, and also Ravid, very experienced player, so he kind of gets to be directly have position on those. So that was that little bit of predictable, but also interesting. Not always just directly on the left of the second stack, the first takes, but that is a look at that with the seat arrangement. And we are underway. 10-8 suited for Bruno in the big blind of Veskrensky with the 6-5, realizing it's Bruno's one of the short stacks, but there's a few other stacks. He is going to go ahead and limp, not just go ahead and rip it in there with the 6-5 off, as Bruno with the nice hand to see in the big blind. Let's see if he's going to just take his free.
I was going to say, I like your bet already, since Veskrensky has, position on Jans and Ravid. So it's already kind of good. But with this hand specifically, I kind of like this limp and the small blind. Again, with a hand like 6-5, you probably don't want to shove 13 blinds effective. It's probably a little bit too much. Also, you're not going to fold, so you're probably just going to put it into your limping range. I like it.
Yeah, Bruno.
And I'm guessing,
pretty standard here to check that back, right? It's chip leader. You got a very nice playable hand. You're happy to get to a flop. It actually flops backdoor flush draw, open ended. So pretty good flop, and now pairs the 10, 5-6 for Veskrensky. And he did have a gut shot on the flop, backdoor clubs. All of a sudden, it gets a lot less exciting of a hand. I'm curious if he's going to take a stab or just kind of just let this one take its course. So he does start betting now.
Yeah, it's probably good to take a stab here. I'm guessing. I like the way both players are playing their hands so far. It kind of makes sense. As Bruno, with a stack as short as his, he probably doesn't want to bet the flop, and then get check raise or whatever. It's just like, I think it's just better to check back his hand. He's got way too much value.
Wow. So this is interesting. He has a club. He's got one of the worst hands he can have. He also has the king, which I don't know, Bruno, a lot of kings on a limp for his stack size. Bruno may elect to rip it in, whether it's a weak king or a king, solid king. So he does give up.
He
I think
gave up.
Bruno's gonna be thrilled to just check this back and think he's likely got a winner. I don't think. Yeah.
Although I don't know, I think Bruno. It's like you almost always have the best hand. But yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying. Like, I don't know. I don't know if there's value.
I think in this ICM final table situation, just where it's at, where he's happy to get through there. But I think you're in most stages, if that's like early on stages and you have that 10 there and as played, I think you would try to maybe give some value out of 7 or a 9. But I think it's just those too important of a pot. Now he's at 670. He sort of jumps his other Brazilian friend, and he's he's happy to get that through. And I also think that there's not much value. Veskrensky likely, isn't going to think he's bluffing there. And maybe won't even call with the 7 or a 9. So interesting spot. Veskrensky now with king 10 off, going to pass on the opportunity to 3-bet the very short stack Philippe, which makes sense as a. Yeah,
I think Philippe's opening range here with 12 big blinds is probably fair, very, very tight. I mean, he probably has some bluffs. Sure, he has some bluffs, maybe like some ace-7 offsuits that don't want to shove, but also want to raise with blockers. But typically, I think that range is pretty strong.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that he's going to,
For sure. Veskrensky was thinking about it, but ultimately decided not to. And now this is interesting. The guy who he respects kind of the most, he's got one of those perfect 3-bet bluff spots. And it's sort of one of those things Jans already knows that he's likely going to be getting picked on here some. So this is, again, this nice timing to have where Jans is sort of in, it's a very playable hand, but one of not his strong hands when he opens king 8 suited. And I am businessman. This guy's not afraid. And he knows that there's going to be some shenanigans between this dynamic. Be interesting if he asserts himself and puts in a cold 4, but no, he does pass. And
this is tough with ITM pressure.
Yeah. Yep. Jan's discipline, just knows he's getting out of the way and not going to make a mess of that. So good start for Veskrensky there. He gets in a medium light 3-bet and gets it through with no confrontation. So good start for him as he has the king deuce suited. And again, I think he's a player that's just looking to play hands. He's chip leader, and king deuce suited, certainly not one he's going to pass.
This ace jack for 16 big blinds. I mean, the only other short stack is Philippe, but I think this is just a really good spot versus the chip leader. It's like a slam dunk all in. I think. I mean, you're expecting him to raise so many, to open raise so many hands. So I think it's an easy shove with ace jack. Now with 10s here, I think it's still a call. Again, given what I just said, like with Veskrensky opening so wide and Bruno is probably shoving a lot of smaller pairs. He may even, choose to shove a hand like king 9 suited potentially, which 10s are beating in a big way.
He does flat. I like that. Doesn't go crazy in case Veskrensky woke up. He's going to get a flip here and is going to have the best hand if he can hold. This is to the river now. Ace jack needed, or he will be our 9th place finisher. It is paint, but no good. That is a good game, and boa noite for the Brazilian there. That is a tough.
Which one did you have?
I had that is my guy, Bruno. I'm out. I'm one. My
that's your guy. But you only had 10%.
That's all right, though. All right. That was a $10 fun wager. Respect. I still got my 2 primary ones in, but yeah, not a great start. The first out there as he took a stand, and actually, he was right. He would have got it through. Guy woke up behind. He still got a flip, and don't think he can be upset about that spot as we see now.
I think that hand played itself.
Pretty good hand at 3-bet here. Like to see a 3-bet. It does do it. And I'm businessman. A little bit frustrating spot as queen jack suited is a real hand, but you're out of position. You don't really love this. Also a player that as we saw reviewed in the pregame, not like this isn't Veskrensky or Jans Ahrens. This is a guy who probably not going to be so out of line, although cutoff button, this is like wide ranges and does fold. I think that's reasonable.
Wow.
Could flat.
Yeah, queen jack suited is just cutoff versus button.
Even that spot, you're just dominated by those type of bluff hands. If he does have a huge hand, you're in trouble, and I think that makes sense. They're not quite deep enough. If it's like 3 million, 2 million stacks there, you could get creative. But I think that's frustrating.
Yeah, those hands they're just so good looking, and like queen jack suited, it's like you want to see a flop for real often. Sure. But I hear what you're saying, especially like with ICM considerations here.
They're also not super deep, right? Businessman's got 30 blinds, so it's not like he has 70 blinds and they can go take a flop and see what happens. It's just sort of like he flop top. you're going to be in trouble.
Yeah, but in some sense that could be an advantage too. Like in some sense, you're not going to get into too much trouble. I'm saying it's when you're not that deep, it's also easier to play out of position, which he was. So actually, I actually think it could. You could also look at it from the positive side.
For sure.
Yeah,
I think
position matters more when you're deeper.
Those are very. It's always interesting to see how players, when it's close, what they err on caution or they err on going for it. And to be fair, his risk premium. He's sort of. There's only one really short stack. He's still on the sort of bottom group of stacks. So yeah, I think from that perspective, he could get involved and take a little bit of a chance. But still, 30 big blinds, plenty to play against. And we see the other Brazilian in a not good situation with dominated suit here and too good a hand to fold. I'm sure he's closing the action, although he's short. He's got Jack 10 suited. I think he may be even thinking about making a move here.
Yeah, I think this actually might be a good spot to shove, honestly, because you're going to get hands like Ace Jack to fold, or Ace 10, Ace Jack folds, and it looks super strong. And when you do get called, you usually have live cards. I mean, unless you're facing like a high pair. Yep. You're usually only, if it's a non-pair hand, you're getting called by like Ace King, Ace Queen, which you're doing just fine against. Like you have like 40% or so against that hand. So I think I really like that shove.
Yeah, nicely done. And again, versus calling there, his suit was dominated. His flush draw would have been dominated. He's out of position. Instead, he picks up a nice pot. So nice execution there. Both Brazilians living up to the hype, going for action. They put it on the line. Could have been a 9th-8th situation, but Ace 4 suited does get the fold. So he forces that. Good result there. And chipping up now from Felipe.
Well, 7's fold onto the gun.
Okay.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, I guess because it's like they're when you're really shallow, you kind of want to have high cards in your hands and 7s don't block any high cards. Maybe he's just afraid that if he 3-bets, he can't really play the hand, and I don't know. I mean, I could see reasons for it. I mean, I would have opened it, but I don't think it's like terrible or anything.
Yeah, I think that's a stone bottom. Maybe to consider 8s is open 7s. Is
I'd be very surprised if he folded 8s. Yeah.
All right. Well, we get to see Veskrensky again. Chip leader, small blind, big blind, just coming with the limp here. Doesn't want to get crazy, and both players have really bad hands. And interesting, if I am businessman with the 9-4 off, one of the ones to consider, like I was saying, sort of the best hands, worst hands, nice to raise sometimes. And then, again, dealing with the chip leader, though, he does just err on check, go to a flop.
And he's second shortest stack at the final table now. So I think he's probably looking to preserve his stack a little bit, hopefully, move up one more spot at least.
Yeah, so he's basically double. It's almost double from the stack below, but he's sort of right in there. Again, Songo, and there's a few others very close Splendens. They're not too far ahead of where he's at. So again, jockeying still early, 40K big blind, plenty of play left. And interesting now if Veskrensky with the A7 off again going to attack here with position, does not go for it. And Jans, I think you would have heard from him there. That was a hand Jans like.
Yeah, I think Jans might have used this hand like in the classic 4-bet shove. And I think Veskrensky knows that if he 3-bets Jans too much, he's going to have to face some shoves, and so he's got to be careful.
Yeah, definitely aware of the dynamic. Both players, two of the more experienced players. It'll be interesting how that plays out today. We're going to see Jack. I'm a little surprised he folded because there's no shove stack, and he likes to play pots, and that's, although not a great hand, that's in
Jans. I think he just folded pocket 4s too, right? If I'm not mistaken, I think he had pocket 4s, which is also interesting from the hijack. So I get again because with no high cards, those small pairs really go down in value when you're playing shallow.
Yeah, Queen 7 suited capitalizes on some of those folds from the chip leaders as does pick it up. 1.2 million for I Am Businessman. Again, 20K, 40K. Upper left of your screen, you get to see how many hands when the blinds go up, a little bit of info on what's going on there. So that is a indication that we get to see the time chess clock. Do you notice that as well? The players there in the middle, they have a chess clock. And if that runs out, you get 5 seconds per decision. We do see that time to time where players run out of clock, and it makes it like speed chess, very intense. And we are going to see a flop. Queen 10-8, 2 jacks, ace 2 suited, jacks with a diamond blocking.
Also interesting that he just flatted the small blind. He didn't 3-bet, which I think is okay, but it's just definitely something that goes into consideration.
Yes, and does get I think, realizing that he's in, that is the first or second. I see a little bit of okay, had a little bit of a cut there. I don't, maybe it was check, flop. Yeah,
Yeah, it's check, check. Yeah, because exactly. Which I think makes sense because that flop connects with the small blind flatting range a lot. Like it's really hard to expect, whatever Jack Jackson has to fold. I mean, he's got to have a hand like pocket sevens, for him to really like fold that flop, or a hand maybe like ace five of spade. I mean, ace five of clubs or something. Like, very very few hands are going to fold that flop, that call out of the small blind. So I think it's probably wise by Jans to just kind of give up on the flop and try to get the showdown.
yeah. He basically
Interesting that Jack.
he beats no hand
Yeah.
other than literally like king jack suited or ace jack off or something, ace jack suited. So that was, I think he did make the deuce and just decided, as you mentioned, the range is so favored the small blind there, and he just wasn't interested in taking a stab there. So interesting, but nice play. I think that would not have worked right at any point, Jack.
Yeah, I like it. And also interesting, the decision by Jack not to bet the river after the flop and turn go check, 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 check. I mean, it's almost like guaranteed that Jacks are the best hand by that point.
Yeah.
So I think that's also an interesting note, that he doesn't go for the value bet.
And a ace seven off, ace nine off. So I'll go 2-2-7. I think you'll see a lot of three bets instead of flatting. You won't see flatting much there. And ace nine does go for that. I think fold or three bet does three bet. And Jack now, ace seven off, one of those hands, not super fun to peel. Thinking if he wants to put a four bet in or just let it go. And again, these players have played now, right? They've played in this tournament. They're playing down the stretch. They're watching the tables, 2-3 tables left, and have a bit of notes and history on it. We mentioned before on the pregame, there's not some unknowns, more unknowns than normal here. Songo 2-2-7, Jack Johnson 9, Splendens, and Felipe, someone we really haven't seen much of in the past. So that'll be interesting to see how everyone that is a regular in these tournaments responds. Does play sevens at a time, little different position.
For me, I'm always curious if the good players take, kind of unusual lines versus the recreational players. Like for me, that's always like a sign of someone thinking on a high level. They're not just playing automatically hands that they choose to, but that they're really thinking about the player and trying to exploit them essentially.
Yeah, completely agree. As we get a middle set, 10-8-7, and Jack Johnson 9, no backdoor diamond, ace 3 gets called by the big blind. This one, be curious if he's even going to take a stab or just decide.
Again, yeah, it's like the same spot as before. Like even versus the big blind calling range, it's like it's so rare that you get a check fold on this flop versus a C bet. And with a hand like ace 3 suited, like you have just no potential to anything really except an ace. I like the give up and just check back.
And is going to go ahead and slip some rope. I mean, double check the 7x. This is cheeky. He's got eights full. I guess just wants his opponent to catch up. Maybe start bluffing some hands. The 9 out there now. So 7, 7, 8, 9, 10, 2 8s. And this is one where do you want to try to take a shot? Maybe your opponent has ace jack off and hit it. Does he have somehow jack queen? Do you want to try to check raise, or do you think that you're just going to let him off the hook to check back some hands? This is tricky, right? This is what I think, again, the great players,
is tricky. It's like
they really know what's going on in there. They're so good at reading the situation. So he does just go elect for a block bet.
I think he's going for a block bet because a hand like ace 9 might call, whereas an ace 9 is not going to bet itself. And the only tricky thing is like if Jack Jackson has like an ace jack, would he have bet more himself on that?
I think that's what I think that block bet when you have a made hand is nice, because when you do block bet and if your opponent does have a jack there, you're inviting them to raise their value as well.
Yeah. Right? So like the question is he going to raise a jack? I don't know. It's hard, but he might. Maybe not. But yeah,
creative bet.
Definitely creative, and I think I like the bet, and I like the fact that it's small.
Well, here's two suited broadways. Felipe with he's just going to rip it. And Jans, this is close because you're doing fine, but you're also putting a lot of chips out. There's still Veskrensky to act, and you could, you're not always going to be dominating. He's going to have jack queen suited, king queen suited. You're going to be flipping. It's very close, and he is going to make the call. And he's in a world of good shape at the moment. But ace-5 suited, that hand looks tricky. Not on that board though. Looks pretty safe. Ace-10. He needs a jack to counterfeit, to chop. That's not enough. The 4 is going to be GG. The two Brazilians, 9th and 8th, they go down together like a old married couple, you know, and one goes, the other goes soon after sometimes, and that is what they did there. They go.
And my dinner's getting closer a little bit. Yes. My dinner's getting closer.
Yes, that was. Well, I didn't have that Brazilian, but I do have one. Yeah, I got 2 players left. You got 3.
Oh yeah,
yeah. That was exactly the team Brazil's out. That doesn't feel good for me. I gotta say. Chicken Nuggets in the chat asking how to join the giveaway. First of all, you gotta hit the thumbs up if you're enjoying the show. That's part 1, and then subscribe. Appreciate that. We're gonna have a $100, $50 ticket. Also on my Twitter, Jeff Gross Poker, there is a tweet out from today, and that is, I'm gonna give someone $50. I didn't put it in the wording there, but if you're watching, you know that you can do that, and you will be privileged to that opportunity. So there's 3 giveaways today. And again, Eugene, what have you been up to, man? So you haven't played a ton of poker. What kind of sparked you to get more engaged with it again?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of miss it. I've always kind of wanted to come back and play a bit more. Lately, especially like with all the all the solvers out and all the game theory stuff, I've kind of wanted to come back and also prove that, not at the highest levels, but like at the medium stakes, things like exploitative styles can actually work better than GTO. And I just kind of wanted to come back and try myself at that and show to others that this style can still work effectively, and that there's some things in poker that still never change. Things like adapting to being able to adjust to your opponents and figuring out where they're strong or where they're weak at. I think that those are the kind of things that I find fun, and that kind of brings me back.
Yeah, makes a ton of sense. It is a game. It's hard to stay away from, right? Once you're in it and you learn it and love it, and then it's almost like you don't know where you're picking up. Since you've sort of been away, there's been a lot of different changes on the style, the play, the aggression, where to 3-bet, 4-bet. At one point, people were 6-7 betting pre. Now you don't really see that dynamic go in, as we see Veskrensky execute a nice queen high on a good flop. King takes it down, adds to that chip lead. But yeah, there's a lot going on in poker at the moment. As again, we said, there's a lot of live events, a lot of great series online, record numbers, bracelets being done. WSOP was bought by GG for $500 million. You saw that August 1st. I don't know if you caught that news. I'm sure
I did. Very exciting. Like I said, I think we're going to see some incredible growth in the WSOP brand, moving forward. And I'm really excited to see what, even in the summer, it's going to change.
Yeah, there's a lot going on, a lot of technology. That's what the NSUS group brings to that, where they've obviously been the leader in technology now with the, as we see here, just in general, it's just things are nicer, better. The emojis, the fun, the gamification, and then even with Bahamas, for example, you can buy in with crypto. You can go, you leave your room. Remember that long walk down from the rooms to the convention center, and you can literally like go on the WSOP Plus app, you click it, and you can register and just go to your table. It's not like go to a cage, do the thing, walk, you get
that's great,
rebuy and go, and it's you scratch your seat off on your phone. It's crazy. It really is. Like that's
amazing.
Last year I saw that and used that. So yeah, that is a nice feature. Everything's getting a little bit more automated and nicer here. Yeah,
and that's great especially also for like recreational play, to attract the recreational player into the game. Like you want to make the process, as smooth as possible for them. That's interesting too here. So in this hand, like, I am businessman limped with 6s, open limped. I've seen that around too, like come and go in style. I've kind of used this approach as well sometimes, like open limping. I kind of like it in shallower stacks. So it's always interesting for me how other people apply it.
Yeah, we see 3-way here. Queen 9 in the small blind. A little bit interesting there, as the 4-4-9. Queen 9 does flop top pair. Yeah,
for Queen 9, it's interesting because when he check calls the flop versus a limp, I mean, it's like you're kind of signaling that you have a 9 or a 4 or some kind of like, maybe king 10 of spades or ace 10 of spades. So it's a weird spot. Like if he continues to get bet into, I doubt the sixes will continue betting here. But nevertheless, I think it's an interesting spot for Jack Jackson. For I'm Businessman, it's kind of a little bit easier to maneuver because you know there's no real reason to bet the turn with this hand.
Yeah, king on the river, scary for everyone. Sixes maybe thinking they're possibly good. Didn't love getting called. Queen 9, however, with the check on the turn feels pretty good. It's a little bit of a scary card though. There's definitely some king X hands that took a stab and then got there, and he is going to check. Let's see.
Six,
Probably nothing.
yeah, sixes can still beat like deuces or fives here, and like some ace X's.
Yeah, ace jack, ace queen. That played it this way didn't 3-bet.
Ace queen maybe would have probably raised pre-flop. Although, I mean, not for sure.
We saw him flat
but
jacks.
likely,
We saw him flat jacks earlier. I think it's.
But that was versus a raise. This is a limp. That's the interesting thing. The six is open limped. It didn't raise.
That's true. Yeah, completely different spot. Queen 9 jack gonna capitalize on that limp, not raise. Pretty interesting. Not something you see a ton of limping that position with those hands, but a little bit of insight into the game plan for I Am Businessman, showing that it is looking to go post flop, take down variants, and these are big hands. Ace, king, and
fireworks.
Big blind. Both players with healthy stacks. I mean, starts with the limp. I mean, this could just go in, right? It's going to go limp. Raise,
yeah, I don't see how it doesn't go. How it doesn't go in because essentially Songu's for sure trapping, and Ravid is never going to check this back. So yeah, I guess I'm rooting for the ace king.
You got to sweat early here. This is definitely an important pot for our wager. Everyone at home, this is potentially a 3 million chip pot coming in on a big flip. Ace king to tens. And
curious if Songu is going to check raise all in or check raise 3-bet. I guess it's probably not shallow enough.
And that's it. Cards on their back. Big flip. 5 cards coming. Ace arrives. Ravid spikes it. Needs to fade. A 10 of 10 only. 4.55% river card, please. It is a queen of diamonds, and that is another knockout. We're down to 7, and good game. Golfer claps all around. There's a little bit of everyone represented there. Yeah, good game. A lot of happy people. The pay jump, as always, when that is sort of the case. Everyone's rooting against you when you're all in, pretty much when that is the case, as we see the 50K blind level has come, and we are now 7-handed. Ace 9 suited, going to open it up. Doesn't limp. Raising. Not a ton of playable hands. I mean,
yeah, it changes now because now, Businessman and Splendens are both kind of equal short stacks. So it's unlikely he's going to get picked on. So I think he feels, he feels comfortable in open raising.
Well, 8-4 suited will defend. This is a stone whiff. Everyone's suited. The flop suited. The big blind suited. Ace 9 is suited.
Yeah, I still expect like a 1 big blind bet. Yeah. This is probably like the right bet size.
Yep. Just takes a little stab here. And Viskrensky not pitching it immediately. Just wow.
Wow.
Check raise. The no equity, no nothing. Just don't. This is what I was saying. He is known as an absolute savage.
Wow. Yeah, it's interesting because like so many hands can continue on the swap. And I don't know. I mean, if I had to guess, Viskrensky probably gives up if he's called on the flop. He's probably not going to bluff the turn. But yeah, that's interesting. Wow, very interesting. I guess he's doing it specifically against hands like, like the one he was facing, and it's just like a one and done check raise. But I like it. Very nice.
Yeah, definitely just pure heart, just savage, just kind of realizing the situation in the tournament, and without a strong hand, there's hard to continue and hang on. And he knows also, I think his opponent's probably going to check back some just light showdown, right? So he's just thinking he's got either
I think if his opponent had like
I
think if his opponent had a hand like pocket 9s or pocket 8s with a flush draw, he's probably not betting. He's probably just checking it back because there's no reason to bet. A very nice spot. I mean,
Yeah, nice execution.
And
3.8 million chipping up right now for Veskrensky. And here he goes. He is working now. Goes after Ravid, who is now in second. Well, third, I should say, out of 7, but very healthy. And he is going to attack the ace-8 off. Has the best hand for what it's worth. Dominated Ravid. Let's see. Does he want to get involved and get creative here, or just sort of move on to the next hand and just sort of deciding, okay, nice timing. Get it through up to 4 million. Veskrensky's showing us what he's capable of and doesn't need the goods to make things happen, as we see 7s versus ace king. Another kind of fair fight. Out of position 7s here. Tough spot, you know. Start getting in the 20
tough spot.
22 blind, 24 blind neighborhood.
22 blind, 24. Yeah, it's a very tough spot. I don't know. Yeah, I kind of like the call. I think folding is a little bit too weak. Maybe shoving, maybe he's a little bit too deep versus under the gun, 6-handed to shove. I mean, calling is going to be hard to play, but let's see.
Yeah, it's one of the things about, you know, they say no set, no bet. Sometimes you get in there, you're like, all right, I'm going to start with 7s. If I flop a set, we'll play a big pot. If not, I'll fold. But then you get like this board. So it's like, okay, I have 7s. This is one of the better flops. The chance of an ace, king, queen, jack, 10 flopping almost, you know, astronomical. This was one of the better flops. And now you're sort of just guessing, okay, well, 6 is good. You're open-ended, no overcard, but now there's a possible flush. You're either way behind or, you know, close to dead, or you're way good. And here we go. This is one of the ones where your opponent has actually a pure, needs an ace king on the river. And here we go. Makes this straight. Got to feel pretty good on this board now with no bet on the turn.
Yeah, you almost always have the best hand by far. But, and I'm thinking from Ravid's spot, it's like, all right, he didn't even bet. Yeah, because I guess Splendens probably doesn't have many bluffs here. So, you know, either a check or a small bet would have been okay. But I don't think he would have seen like any kind of hero call or anything raise king. Ooh, oh, look at this.
Nasty. This could be
your guy versus my guy.
Could be a 6 million chip pot here. But I guess when Ravid 3 bets.
That's so strong. Yeah, because given these chip stacks.
Oh, wow, man, Jack Johnson's really getting involved. He's really been, and this actually is going to play well for Ravid. This is going to work well for him because it's going to look like a squeeze.
Yeah, it looks more like a squeeze, exactly. For the 10s, this looks more like a squeeze because it's like a, you know, you're looking to steal more money because the small blind looks weaker. So this is definitely great for Ravid. Very interesting to see what 10s do. I think it's more likely that 10s just call here.
I wonder if there's a world where he just folds. Like it would be seeming.
Yeah,
tight,
wow. You really have to know your player.
You got 4 million. You're cruising. Wow.
Wow.
I mean, got 8-4 suited check raising on the 3-diamond Broadway, and then just pitching 10s casually like it's nothing. I mean, that's class. This guy.
Yeah.
I'm happy to have that.
Less than 10 seconds of
thought. I didn't even think about it. That's what I said. I really. It's a great fold, and you know, again, you start thinking about game theory, the situation. Why just like start diving in an unfamiliar spot, like you're like, all right, we're either flipping or I'm crushed. I'm gonna put out a lot of chips, and I like that. Just didn't think.
Very impressive. Yeah,
nice fold.
And keep your big stack to kind of to run over the table too, a bit. I like it. Here with King 9, I actually like the C bet, specifically because you're blocking some of the hands that can check. Even though the Queen Jack connects well with the check, you know, with the calling range in a small blind, you're blocking like hands like King Queen, King Jack, Jack 9, Queen 9 suited. So I don't like that C bet, and I think I like a double a double barrel here. Wow, that's actually surprising that he didn't go for it.
Yeah, ace 10 now on the river. Pretty happy with that. And King 9, no club, has a king blocking King 10, but there's no club in the hand. And just wondering if this is a good one to give up. As played, Ravid may get a bet, though. May get to just make a nice check call here.
Yeah. I think Jack's probably going to feel obligated to kind of to bluff this. Maybe like 50-60% pot. Just too good of a card versus like a Jack X. Or a hand like pocket 7s or something.
Yep, goes for around that sizing. and now ace 10, again, turns into sort of a comfortable check call. I don't think you're loving it.
Yeah,
As you
given
still lose to a fair amount of hands here, but you also, as played, I think that it's against the button too. Going to be a wider range. I think that.
yeah, I'm surprised he's taking this long, to be honest. I think it's a very, very easy check call.
Yeah, I think he's going to ultimately get there. I just think that this Jack Johnson's been a little splashy too, flatting Jack 9 suited out of the small to a raise. He's been kind of mixing it up, and then again button here. This I don't think there's any world he's raising. I am surprised he's taking this long. I guess there's some world where he folds.
Yeah, I don't know what he's thinking. I mean, I can't see a world of him check raising, of where check raising makes sense.
Yeah,
I mean, I just don't really see it.
I think he's also seeing that Ravid's stats is like a little on the tighter side. Doesn't have much experience here. Realize it's a big spot. Maybe he's leveling himself that he just is going to play isn't going to fire the size and as a bluff. But I don't know. Yeah, wow, that's shocking to me. That is shocking.
No way.
But I shouldn't say shocking. I'm surprised, but I think for the reasons we just mentioned that is a strong consideration. Again, Ravi's got a great stack, and I think he'll be a little surprised to see that bluff. Honestly, the fact that Jack didn't have a club, I think I'm pretty nice follow through there.
Yeah, and it would have made more sense to maybe fold, his ace 10 if he was, facing like an under the gun open. But he was facing a button open, so the range is so much wider. So it's like that check call with an ace on the river is like a slam dunk, and I would have thought. So that's very surprising.
I'm surprised on that, but again, Eugene, I want to remind you, and we do have the bias. We got the whole cards up. It is.
That's true.
Catch myself
that is very true.
Man, I'm playing great. I'm dialed in and see what's going on, but it does help to see what the other has. And again, I think Ravid, obviously one of the top players in the world right now in great form, and like great players. It's also when you're bluffing, great players do find, I think, more folds, right? It's you can bluff them a little bit more. They think more, they give more consideration to stuff and are willing to make folds. So again, very interesting hand. Love to talk to him. And Ravid, if you're watching, would love to have you as a guest on the show, Viskrensky as well. Anyone who plays in the GG Millions, and love to, if you want to reach out, I have a pretty good list now of people that want to be on, and love to have new faces on the show as well. We have a lot of repeat guests, and Eugene hopefully will come on again after, there's some booth magic. Sergio in particular, he came on, went on a super heater. I can't take credit. He knows a thing or two about poker, but he's had one of the best years in poker. He came on and like a week later won the 5K, like Hard Rock Live. He won the 50K. He's won like 3. He's been on here like so many weeks and just crushing it. So I hope this gives you a little spark to your live poker coming up. No guarantees, but
I will
likely.
keep this in mind.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jeff.
We want to welcome everyone in today. A reminder that if you are thinking of going to the Bahamas, there's a 50 satellite guarantee for the 30K packages, includes 14 days at the luxurious Atlantis in the Bahamas, as well as the 26K buy-in of the $50 million guaranteed 26K buy-in tournament. Yes, that's right. 50 million. I mean, just insane. And that is going on here in December 6th to the 19th. Hope to see you guys down there. And those are $1,500 satellites running this Sunday on GG. That is 50 of those packages guaranteed. So it could be an overlay. I've heard there's been some overlays in some of these 25K ones, because they do guarantee their flight. That's how they're doing it, by the way, Eugene. That's the reason. You would think, how do you get 2,000 people to go down to the Bahamas and buy in for 25? There is online flights where people that's running up to that point. That's why they're able to kind of, I mean, I don't know if they'll get it, but it's going to be close, or at least, entertain that because of the online fights that are going on.
This makes sense, because like, even if you think back to like the World Series, like of remember like in 2006 when Jamie Gold won, I think it was 2006, when it was like record-setting field, and the reason it was record, and then everything like really dropped off. Like I think it was like 12,000 people when he won, and then it like dropped off to like 6,000 or 7,000 quickly the next year. And the biggest reason for that was because PokerStars at the time sent a lot of people through packages to the World Series. And then when they weren't able to do that in the following years, I think that the numbers really dropped off. And that's one of the reasons why I'm so kind of excited about GGPoker buying the World Series of Poker, because through packages, I think they're going to really like make the numbers go through the roof, I think, for main event and all the side events. So that's why I'm really excited to see where it goes.
I agree with you. It really is crazy to see what's happening. I got some other insight on just in general what's happening with the different jurisdictions. I mean, look, I grew up in Michigan. You know, you've been in the U.S. a lot. That's one of the 50 states. I know you're not. You know your geography, but it's a nice that they've come on. So now Michigan is a state where you can win a bracelet where it's tied in with New Jersey and Nevada. So like that's really cool. So if I'm back in Michigan, it's nice to be able to just go to my parents' house and go ahead and fire up and potentially win a bracelet, which is running actually currently now. I'm thinking about getting up there here shortly for some of those. So that's nice. Fun. And it just I just remember Black Friday 2011. When did you sort of stop playing poker? Was it around that time or a little after? Was that part of your decision?
No, I stopped playing maybe around like 20, maybe 17, 16, 17. Okay. So well after Black Friday.
Okay, well after that. But there was a noticeable change, right? Like, and I just remember seeing that. I couldn't believe that now, right? We're 2024, and I just can't believe that the U.S. isn't fully like, look at DraftKings and these different sports sites, and now gamble, like sports betting's allowed, daily fantasy's allowed, poker's so much more skill and so much more of an obvious game that should be just allowed, right? So it's like crazy that looking now, I would never have imagined that there would still be this issue with poker. But
the sports betting's allowed.
A lot going on, man. Who knows what's going to happen?
Election day coming up. Exciting. Yeah, let's see. A lot of things are going to change one way or another.
Yes.
So let's see. At least states are coming on, like you said, even one by one. It's still, at least it's kind of moving in the right direction, even if it's kind of slowly. At least there's movement.
Things could be worse. Look, I'm curious. You can put in the chat. You don't have to say. It's a political thing. If you're American or if you gotta say, you can put Trump. Let's go T for Trump, K for Kamala. And I'm curious if you gotta pick what's going on. The betting odds suggest Trump's going to win. It's going to be tight, going to be intense. A lot of betting markets going on with that right now, and I'm curious what people think. Let us know where you're watching from out there. Again, Eugene joins us. Jeff Gross. We are here to call a winner, 300,000 plus the first. No deal making, and we've seen some exciting hands already. Big fold and a big couple bluffs too. So we've seen a little everything here as pretty nice hands. Ace 9 suited, King 10 suited, Queen 10 suited, and I am businessman's chipped up a bit right now. He's on his way up trajectory from about 1.2, so he's 50% up his stack and done a pretty good job. Saw him limp sixes earlier, saw him open fold sevens, and now he comes for a 3.
Yeah, I like this 3-bet because it looks really strong too, and it's I think he can feel comfortable that Jans is probably almost never going to going to 4-bet shove this. Although I don't know, Jans is probably a better, not probably, but definitely a better player than me. So I don't know what his bluff ranges to 4-bet shove, but I think it's still a really, really good spot. So
yeah,
I like that.
I am businessman. 2,002,000. He is up above the 2M mark, which is a nice milestone in this tournament. Pretty healthy. You can see with only 6 remaining right now. We're gonna get the giveaways queued up around 4. Want to welcome everyone and give you a chance to hit the thumbs up as well as subscribe. Appreciate that. That will be part of the giveaway. And then on my Twitter, Jeff Gross Poker, you guys can see the tweet out. I will give away $50 cash. You guys can just comment, retweet, say hello on there, and I will pick that myself, as I didn't put that in the wording. But if you're watching, that will be, you'll have a much higher chance of doing that because I didn't prompt that there. So anyone in there, you guys do that, I will do that after the show. And again, Eugene, thank you for the time. Appreciate it. Where can people follow you on socials? Where's the best way to keep up with you?
They can find me on Instagram and on Twitter, both Katchalov. It's just the first letter of my first name and my last name. Katchalov on Instagram and Twitter. I've been leading a fairly active social media life lately on both Instagram and Twitter, and so yeah, people can follow me there and message me there and see what I'm up to.
Awesome. I noticed you've had some custom content. You've really been putting in some nice stuff, which is great. And I'll tell you what else is great is I Am Businessman, who's been active, just 3-bet gets the aces, and Garby, who had kings before, got kind of a little bit robbed and not get more chips from Viskrensky. He could step into it. I think he does recognize the situation here, though, that just calls, and we are going to the flop. Man. Aces with the ace of diamond. Nice spot.
This is going in.
This is definitely, yeah. I mean, look, if you're going to be, the first part of the equation was, don't just get in 4-1 bad. You get to a flop.
Yeah.
ace
See
queen
a good
suited.
flop.
So like you start saying, okay, like I've at least taken the next step in variance and gone to a flop. You don't flop your set. You realize you're still in really bad shape against aces, kings, queens, jacks. Maybe doesn't raise, tens you have. So you don't have a diamond. That's a little bit more likely your opponent could have an ace king or
Right.
with the diamond as well that wants to keep going. This card could
Ooh,
actually
wow, he might actually get away. Wow.
for sure. This is actually lucky other than a 10 or an 8
Honestly,
or
I'm
6.
surprised he just called the flop. I don't even know. Interesting. Okay. Because now there's only 1.2 left and 1.7. All right.
So the interesting part
Interesting.
about here is like it's tricky, right? Because it's you have the ace of diamonds. There's not many hands that your opponent's going to peel that raise with. You're kind of have it boxed to like, wow, he's going to go.
Yeah.
Going to get his. I mean, I wonder.
Yeah, it's a weird spot because like it's a weird spot. I like the bet with a set of aces simply because like that ace is like it's almost like too good of a card for you. So it almost looks strange if you don't bet it. It's like you're unlikely to get a bluff out of your opponent, with an ace coming out. So I think I like the bet, but it's kind of unfortunate because you're going to expect to see a fold a lot.
Yeah, shout out to the GTO lab, the boys there. I'm curious. That's a hand I'd like to tag in and do. They do a review. Those I mentioned, Dan Lavorius, Jonathan Jaffe, Nick Petrolangelo, and that Ben Heath. Some of these guys. This would be that'd be a nice hand. I'm gonna see timestamp that. That's about what was that 145.50, like 53 minutes in to the show. That was a curious hand. I don't know. I like betting. I just think the size seems like you're giving him no chance to like what what is he going to have there? I don't think he has many flush draws. You have the ace of diamonds, right? So it's like, does he have king queen suited? Probably not. Probably doesn't have those hands. And even so, like that's okay. You don't mind a flush.
Maybe like pocket versus like pocket eights, or I don't even know what hand like he just doesn't believe you with. It's like because the big blind, in terms of if he doesn't have aces, in terms of bluffs, he can have a hand like king 8, for example, right, or king 6 that 3 bets pre-flop. So if the pocket tens thinks he's still facing those hands, he can still call potentially.
Yeah,
definitely interesting. It'd be very interesting to see what the top players today think about that. It's a tough spot too.
Send a note to Jonathan Jaffe, letting him know. I'd give him guys a couple of hands like that. That one I would just be very curious on the turn sizing. I'm very interested, but yeah, that's why poker's great, right? There's different styles, sizings, and different notes and exploits you can go for at any given time, and
versus different opponents. Obviously, these players have been playing, since the beginning of the tournament, and potentially have some history with each other, also from past tournaments. So they may have information that we don't in terms of who plays how and in what spots.
Yeah, agreed. Very much so. As we are still 6-handed, and we are going to play down to the winner. This is again going well for Veskrensky, 3.8 million. He is in control. Jan Aaron's sitting still comfortable, 2.3. Really tight now. We lost a couple of shorter stacks, so it kind of just consolidated, right? Six players. Splendors has got 1.2. Everyone else is pretty healthy over the 2 million mark. Really, really a little bit too tight to call. You can see a couple more hands. We're going to go up to the 30K, 60K level. And we are very much appreciated to see everyone in. We saw a really interesting fold. I'd say the two most interesting hands were the ace-10 fold and the 8-4 spade check raise sort of on the board, which was just like a kamikaze, just absolutely.
Very memorable.
Again, for what reason? Probably just realizing that. Exactly. Showdown probably admits a lot of modest hands aren't going to bet there, and just either has sort of stone miss or super good hand. And if he does have a super good hand, that was not one I'm sure he's going to unload.
And also, don't forget the tens, the when he folded versus the kings pre-flop, which I think is also really impressive to recognize, the ranges in that spot.
And the fact that he didn't take long. There we go. 30K, 60, 7,500.
Yeah,
it's not big blind ante. Every player anteing, so about 40K in the middle, 30K, 60K level. As we are gonna be again gonna see if Veskrensky. I just feel like he's in such good form. He's got a great seat right now. He's got position on Jans and Ravid as he's got sort of the chips everything working in his favor. But again, 6 left, lot to play for. A little bit too early to call who is the stone favorite. I mean, Veskrensky, you'd have to put the money on right now, but there's again plenty of chips for the other capable players. Is Jack King gonna raise? We see a flat and sevens. Could get in a little trouble. The King 8 King board as sevens gonna realize against the button raise here. Gonna have the best hand a lot.
Yeah, and the sevens are almost never going to fold this flop. That would be kind of silly. So we're going to see a check call here almost always. There's not much reason to raise, I think, either. This spot is always interesting when, with King Jack, it's like, do you continue betting here, or do you sometimes like kind of slow play and get to the river? Or it's like, you typically just continue to bet, but I always like to see how top players choose to play these spots.
Yeah, King Jack goes for a turn healthy size here. Diamonds pick up. No diamond for either player. Jan's going to go ahead with the milky sizing, and a sevens sort of, not fun, right? When you're in no man's land, I think that's like the great
Yeah.
thing. When you're folding's only a small mistake. Sometimes if you're wrong and you fold, it's not the end of the world. That was one of his no cards from the 2005 final table with Joe Hashem. He ends up getting heads up, and he followed his rules and got there. And again, sometimes Veskrensky being aggressive, making bold plays doesn't mean that you're that's not his game. He's not sticky. He doesn't have trust issues when he feels like this isn't like the time where he's the aggressor. He's telling the story. He likes to just get out of the way. And so far today, at least, it's worked out really well for him. We get a little bit of a look into how he goes through and finds these big stacks and doesn't really put himself in really precarious positions. So very, very well played.
For sure. And I think maybe he hasn't had people show him any bluffs yet. I think you might have a reaction and play a little bit differently if people start showing him a lot of bluffs. But for now, definitely I agree with you.
King deuce suited, ace 6 off again. Jack Johnson just comes for the big one. I like this. This is something we see where they play. This is a large sizing, but this shows like the weak ace. I like this versus calling. You call, you're just out of position. You hit the ace, you don't know where you're at, and if you get bluffed a lot of time and you don't connect. So this is a very big sizing, and Veskrensky's such a calculated player. He's thinking about it. He's like, man, what is this? And I got to say, an unknown, a guy who hasn't really been here. I don't know what he's considering. If he clicks it here, this guy's officially all right.
Wow.
My favorite player.
Nice. I like your guy. You got the pick.
This guy is a absolute lunatic, savage, dialed in matrix moment right here. That is a crazy 4-bet against the guy that Jack Johnson. He's not someone I'm thinking is going to go out of the way. He must have a read, must have a sizing, must have played with him. That is the hand of the day. I don't know if we have a sponsor like back in the day, Planters hand of the day. What is this? That was absolutely crazy. And you saw he was thinking. He was thinking. It felt like he was going to do it. I just didn't think he was really going to do it, but he did it. 4.2
cool.
And ace king. Wow. Giveaway today. What's up, Greggy? Yes, we will have a $50 and $100. You must be subscribed to the channel. Hit the thumbs up, and we appreciate that. We are going to go ahead and absolutely put that hand in. Wow, what a hand there. What a hand. I'm going to send that to the boys over at GTO Lab too. That was cool, man. That was a cool hand. That
was a cool hand, and that's one of the things I guess you have to kind of recognize when you are 3-betting with hands like ace-6 that you might face, light 4-bets from bluffs as well.
And ace king position going to favor this spot most of the time, as both players may just check this down. I guess at this moment, ace king, and not a great board. It's always queen high, not fun. No player with the club. I think ace king going to be happy.
It's going to showdown. Yeah.
Yeah, no point to do much more there. Mystery hand, Eugene. Are you ready for this? Let's see who we got. All mystery hands, though, at the moment. Generally, how this works is they show us one, but at the moment, we've got all mystery hands, which in theory is not a mystery hand. I think Splendors was maybe the guy in the end of full in, so that's interesting. I will say the quality of the mystery hand has been extremely high. Like, there's been some unbelievable decisions. All right, there we go. We got it. Jack 10 suited. That's your mystery hand.
All right.
And our guy Jack's been playing mysterious today, so let's see. Jack 10 suited. You get a flat, and now let's see how this plays out. Eugene, you can take the action and let me see how you would proceed here.
Sure. All right. So Jack 10 suited. I like the flat pre-flop on the button when position. A hand that flops pretty well. Here facing a c-bet, you're not happy. It's probably a little bit too early to give up, but certainly a board that favors the under the gun raiser more. But I think you're going to see a call very often. I think it's probably a little bit too weak to just fold the flop. I think when you call here, it's not like you're always weak because you have some ace-x in your range as well, so you're a little bit protected in that sense. But definitely, check is definitely what you want to see on the turn. I don't think you can probably withstand another bet with this hand. The interesting thing is here is like, do you bet or check here on the turn? I think you mostly just check back here on the turn. There's not that much reason to bet or protect against anything because, flush draws or kind of big straight draws or whatever, it's like they're probably going to bet themselves in the turn rather than check call. So there's no reason to really bet the turn. So I like the check back. The river is really interesting because you're still losing to an ace. You're now losing to king queen. I mean, It's unclear if king queen would have bet the turn itself. But definitely interesting spot. I don't know, like versus on the gun raiser, he's definitely got a lot of ace-x in his range that also play the flop and the turn in this way. This is not an easy spot.
No diamond, no spade, capable player, chip leader. I would lean towards would think.
Wow.
So interesting. So that
very
actually
cool. Yeah, he turned that hand into a bluff. That's impressive.
That is impressive. Wild hand. We are going to take a very short break. We're going to have a message from the Bahamas, and we will see you guys in a moment.
In case you haven't noticed, we're into breaking records at the World Series of Poker. Bigger and better is just how we roll. We did it this summer, as you saw, with the main event. Speaking of the main event, the WSOP just had a super idea for this year's WSOP Paradise in the Bahamas. For the first time ever, WSOP will host the super main event, a $25,000 buy-in with the biggest guarantee in the history of poker. Wait, is that number right? 50 million? What? 50 million? You guys are nuts, for real. Huge prize pools, massive water slides, fun for the whole family, and the chance to hunt bracelets with the beautiful backdrop of the Bahamas beaches just a few sandy footsteps away from the poker room. 15 bracelets will be on the line with buy-ins ranging from $2,500 up to $1 million. Yes, you heard that right, a $1 million buy-in. The WSOP has partnered with the Triton Millions to bring the largest poker tournament in WSOP history back home. So what are you waiting for? Come make history with us again at WSOP Paradise.
Back, everyone.
We're back.
Are back, as we were just talking about on the break, the Atlantis, because it's been a while. Eugene used to go. How many times have you been there? 10, 12, 5? Well, you've been a lot.
Yeah, probably over 10.
Yeah, so I would say it's the same Atlantis, but they've just made some changes. New sports book. There's upgraded facilities. It's got a little bit of a facelift, and they had to get the pressure was on a bit because of Bahamar, right? Bahamar, brand new sort of Vegas style casino.
Right.
Have you seen Bahamar?
I have not. No,
very nice place. But Atlantis also upgraded and very, it's nice. Like I would say, it's refreshing to come back and get in there and it's just the venue's nicer, and GG does a great job and makes it really smooth, the whole thing. As we see some real big hands here, nines, ace, jack suited, king, queen. So these are kind of all equal of like very strong, but not tier one, right? They're all a lot of playability as nines. Jack kind of chipping down a bit, down to 2 million. He's been getting put in some tough spots. That a6 off, really, that's going to stun him when he sees that. That was
when he sees that
play there.
He probably hasn't seen it yet, though, right? Because there's like 30-minute delay, so he probably hasn't seen it yet.
No, he hasn't. And here, You can't like this.
If
You can't like this.
Yeah,
spot.
if he shoves here with nines, it's actually really hard for Jans.
Wow.
Yeah, like this is like
Jans is
now that
definitely
he
not
pulls the
calling.
trigger.
No, he's not calling. He turned his hand into a
Wow.
bluff, and that was
Yeah.
this is spice too, man. The nines to draw the line in the
Wow.
sand with the nines. Wow.
Yeah, I've always found that painful when you have like fold a hand as pretty as ace jack suited because you're folding so much equity, especially versus potentially a coin flip when you're getting like 2-1 or whatever. It's so hard.
Man, that was I didn't know he was gonna go for it. You know, that's kind of like one of those things where you go, he started the day in second. He literally was all on the line. He could be out in six, which is just would be, you know, to start second and get six is pretty big. That's a tough situation. So he's not afraid either. Jack's showing us he's not afraid.
Yeah, definitely not.
King Jack, Ace Queen, King Jack out flopping. And a very, very, very nice situation for King Jack. Although again, hard. You kind of, you know, you turn top two. Now you feel a lot better. Ace Queen does have a key card blocking Queen 10
The ace of
suited.
diamonds.
King Jack feeling really
yeah,
nice.
the queen of hearts. Yeah.
Yeah, I think King Jack feeling pretty comfortable. Ace Queen.
It's also interesting when like how often ace because actually like it might be a reasonable double barrel here because you're gonna get hands like pocket eights to fold. You might get a hand like 9-8 suited, 9-7 suited to fold, ace 5 suited. You know, all the non-king, non-jack hands, you're gonna get them to fold. So I actually like this bet. I think this makes a lot of sense. And I think I would have been a little bit too weak if he just checked this back.
Yeah, I agree. Also, it's against a big blind range, so you got again.
Yeah, exactly.
All these hands can fold. A weak king even isn't gonna feel nice, and you then also on some river diamonds can follow through. A 10 obviously makes you the non-diamond. There's some things that are working, and honestly, King Jack just smokes top of range, and Ravid just didn't want to leave it to chance. I Am Businessman says, hey, that's a big enough pot. Maybe I cooler him. Maybe he's got ace king. Maybe he's got aces. Maybe.
But also, but also he probably. Exactly, deny equity, just because there's a lot of scary river cards that maybe he doesn't want to face. Oh, that makes sense.
Yep, King Jack 7-4, Jack 7 suited. King Jack gonna go ahead and attack, and I think Ravid at this moment with his stack with this player, this is just too much hand. This is gonna go surfs up and gonna just take it down here. I would imagine there's really no other way about it. King Jack just knows what he's doing. He's 3-bet folding.
Interesting that he 3-bet with King Jack. I think I would have preferred a flat on the button with King Jack because you have the button. You know, you're probably not going to face too much pressure from the short stack. You know, post flop, you get to use your position more. So I don't know. I always thought it's you know maybe better to just flat those hands, but you know everybody has their own strategy.
King Jack, I think King Jack suited more so in there. I mean, this guy again, he's just got the chip lead, he's got the license, he just knows where to put pressure. Again, Ravid though, sort of the shortest risk premium with Splendens, the shortest there. So this is again good spot for Splendens here to rip this in with the. There you go. To your point. There's
beautiful spot.
So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but this is a beautiful spot for Ace Queen. Yeah, probably gonna just take it down.
Yeah, this is definitely wide open. But 4.3 Veskrensky really has done a good job maintaining chip lead throughout. He's got the 10s impressive fold we mentioned, and so far Jack Johnson, he's at a little bit of a roller coaster in second. He still is in actually effectively tied for second and technically third. So
yeah,
he was all in with nines though. He was close to, you know, put on the line, could have been out in sixth and did take a stand with nines. So some big pairs going on. We saw last week, I think we had 9 or 10 aces. One guy had 4 times dealt aces. It was insane at a final table. That was a record for sure, as we are gonna, you know, again, put everyone, welcome them in. We're gonna at forehand I'll start the giveaways, so want to welcome everyone to get involved with that $100 or $50 ticket. We're gonna do 2 of them, and The Road to Paradise, I'm going to mention again, $1,500 satellite, 50 seats guaranteed on GG this weekend. That is for a 30K package, $26,000 for the $50 million entry tournament, and then 14 days at the exclusive and 5-star Atlantis Resort. And I can say I've been there many times. Eugene's been there many times. It is fun, especially you got kids, family. You can kind of do a package.
Oh yeah.
So by yourself, it's great too. But if you have kids, they got the water parks. They got, you know, a lot to do for kids. It's sort of a great family vacation. I'm in South Florida, a little more of a hike for you, but for me, it's a little jump, hop, and skip right over there. And we'll be going for that. So I'm excited. And hopefully if you're not there this year, the next, I think that's sort of a long-term, maybe 10-year or so contract with the Atlantis going to be doing WSOP in December. Nice. There, 15 events. So pretty cool, wide range. And Triton involved there, 500K invitational, some other events. Pretty cool.
Triton's really grown over the years too, huh? It's like really,
yeah, it's amazing. I love Triton. Really, I played, commentated there, done a lot. They just, it's great. High stakes, really strong brand. And again, that's why poker's in such good place. There's multiple series. I'm loyal. GGWSOP, that's where I'm at. I got, of course, not just bias, but it is great. They you know, the bracelets, the online, the events, the amount of people playing on GG is crazy right now. But there is other poker in the world. There is other things, and that's what's so cool. There's a mix, right? There's options. You're in Europe, there's something to play. You're in Vegas or West Coast, there's something to play. You're in WSOP, there's circuit events all over the world. There's bracelet stuff, there's online good stuff, and there's just a lot of options, which is why poker's in
competition is always great, right? I mean, it just kind of proves that competition always drives everyone to get better. Even with Bahamas, right? Like you said, Atlantis got better and improved, likely only because of the Bahamar. You know, so competition is great. Yeah, interesting. We finally see Splendens play. He hasn't played much. I mean, he hasn't really had much to play, but my third dinner pick.
Yeah, Splendens. I mean, no one has much here. This is King High has got the key card though.
Yeah, I think King High can go for check call here, just because you're often facing some, you know, lower diamond draws, and there's really any reason to bet this turn because you're not going to get a pair to fold, and you don't necessarily want smaller diamonds to fold. And King High is pretty good. I don't know. I mean, I guess it's probably pretty close.
Yeah, I mean, I guess some plans to follow through, right? I guess that was the idea there. It's a semi-bluff. It's a nice card. I think that's also, he's been very quiet. I like that. I don't mind it. I don't mind it. I think this guy's played a pretty quiet, pretty concise game, and he did take a shot there with a reasonable hand to bluff with. That was definitely a key card to have.
I actually thought it might actually be like too strong to bluff, actually, with in that spot, small but
right. Yeah, some showdown.
King High with the diamond draw.
He could just have the best hand. Opponent bluffs. You could kind of call and then not fold. But again, getting it done, multiple ways to get it done. As we see another hand here with a very nice flop of Ravid. He actually outflops the king queen. Has the flush draw, has the 6, and he is not going anywhere. The question for him will be
facing a huge bet. Yeah, this is interesting. You see these huge C bets being utilized in flops like this, just to discourage people from floating with hands like, you know, any kind of backdoor draws or some weak gut shots. Maybe a hand like 10-7 or something of hearts maybe can just fold this flop, or you really apply a lot of pressure to a hand like, you know, an ace high or like ace 4 of diamonds. So you sometimes see these huge C bets, which I kind of like. It's interesting.
Yeah, I think, you know, I think he's considering, does it make sense to shove, or maybe his opponent has a hand like ace with the spade. So then you're like, almost just let him bluff it off. If a spade comes, and you're not really protecting it that much, but ultimately a lot of hand, a big pop, big moment, does just go ahead and take it down there. And he is going to be happy with the result. 1.9 million, again, very tight now. No one's super short. Splendens off 23 bigs, and this, you know, no one critically short.
Yeah, we've got a game here.
King Queen again. Jack looking like he tried his chances with the 3-bet earlier and got smoked on a just complete stuffing from Viskrensky. And this time, will he,
Yeah, this is
will
a
it
small
work?
3-bet too. Like, it's interesting. Okay.
It just he folds the ace-10 this time. So again, just capable, willing, timing, tempo, reasoning, and I guess just thinking that he wasn't going to be so brave. And he did actually step out a little bit.
Yeah.
One of those sort of good bluff 3-bets though, right? Sort of not mandatory, but
exactly. Yeah,
encouraged.
but with good blockers to 3-bets.
All right, nines goes for a limp.
Interesting. Yeah, I guess he. I mean, there could be a lot of reasons to limp here, but it's interesting. Let's see what happens.
King 9, so he does get. Yeah, I mean, not that Viskrensky would have folded, right, for the min raise, but he does get out.
Yeah, he would have defended anyways. Yeah.
And then the ace, interesting. This may just be a pretty
check again, almost for sure.
Pot, yeah.
No reason to bet here with the nines. I think at this point, Viskrensky probably has to bet something not so big. Wow, he checks again. All right.
Could go, well, yeah. So go check. I mean, I don't.
I guess he'd expect. Yeah, I guess with a king, he's thinking that a jack is probably going to bet anyways. Maybe I don't know. It's kind of weird. I thought you can probably value bet the river with king. When it goes check. Just because you want to have some bluffs, right? Like when you're betting that river. So the king is one of the value hands you want to have.
Yeah, this has been a interesting final table where we've seen some unpredictable things for sure. And I think that at the moment, everything has gone relatively smooth. The 8-4, like for me, the standout hand was the 8-4 bluff. That was just a kind of cool bluff that we don't see very often. We saw some nice cautious folds that were correct, right? Which is sometimes you could think when it's wrong or when you're getting bluffed, it looks bad. But when you're right, you look like a super genius. So we've seen a little bit of more of the super genius stuff in the ace-8 suit on the button. Viskrensky looking to just kind of run away. We still see the time banks getting a little short for I Am Businessman. Still have a lot of clock for most players. And I have seen a double 0-0 before. That's been the chess clock at zeros.
Wow.
Heads up. That's a rare feat, but it does.
Oh, and sevens. You saw that? Ravi just folded sevens under the gun 6-handed. Interesting.
That is interesting.
I mean, he would have heard from the button. I guess he would have he wanted to avoid that.
Yeah, tough players. Jan's also Viskrensky's putting a lot of pressure. Just sort of, I think that's also part of it. Is he's just
yeah.
Not enough hand, but 6-handed is very different than 8 or 9. So again, interesting.
Yeah.
Those are fun to look at and understand why players do that in a spot. And everyone's got a little different thought and threshold to what their minimum entry point is off different stack sizes. But again, Ravi playing a really, really inspired brand of poker. He won the 100K WSOP event and has also been here frequently. So again, someone who really knows his stuff.
I have no doubt. Yeah. For me, I especially like to see what the top players how they choose to play hands that I may choose to play differently, and I always think like, oh, what can I learn from that? That's the way I've always learned poker.
And Jack, I'll tell you where he learned poker, little street poker. He's going with the bottom pair, backdoor flush draw, check raise. Does have the best hand. Ace King got to be frustrated here on the Queen Jack Deuce. Does c-bet and then get blown off. I mean, granted, he was pretty behind, but did have a pure 10 outs there at the moment. He had a 10 for the nuts, and ace or king would have been good. And here we go. Aces, haven't seen these passed out much. No one with much to play with here, though, as Jack also is not a quitter. May just go limp raise, but I don't think much else. He does cover Ravi. I guess there's a world where he raises, but he does go for
it. Probably just limp. But about the previous hand, that's actually I'm surprised that ace king just bet folded and not flop, because he could be facing bluff check raises too on the flop, and he's beating those, and he's got a lot of clean outs.
9-10.
I'm actually surprised. I'm kind of surprised that he just bet folded with a hand that has so much equity. I almost feel like if you're gonna c bet and then decide to fold versus a check raise, I think you're just better off checking behind the flop, a hand that has that much equity, and it might just be like the best hand. I almost think like that might just be a mistake. It's like you either bet with the intention to call a check raise, or if you're not willing to call a check raise, then just check back the flop.
Jack 7-5, 7-5 matching up with the best of the pairs. Not going to get to a flop there again. Jan's making a fold there, closing the action. This is a spot where we are seeing a little things kind of slow down, right? Six-handed, pretty even. The stacks didn't get out of hand, and we are seeing a very, very, very interesting play out here as King 10 suited and queens. I mean, this could have. Let's see. Jack's has played. His sizing's been interesting. Let's see if he makes it smaller. I don't think he'll flat this, as this is a limp. I'm sorry, it's a limp. So he's certainly raising. See how big he goes.
Yeah.
275. King 10 suited in the neighborhood of potentially want to get to a flop, although out of position. They're a little bit deeper. 70K big blind.
And also, and also the dynamics of we've seen a couple of limps this final table, but no one's attacked a limp yet. So like this is the first time we see a limp and someone attacking a limp. So I think in that sense you can kind of give a little bit more respect to someone who's attacking the limp. I think if the situation was different, if there was like a lot of limps and a lot of attacking the limps, then maybe you can see something, someone kind of fighting back. But I think in this case, I think it kind of makes sense that he'll limp fold.
Little big pair carousel here. Seeing aces, kings, queens. They were slow to start. We're getting some action now, getting some big hands. And no coolers, no matchups. The closest thing we saw to a matchup was what, kings to tens.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, aces to tens, and the tens folded. I don't think we've had many coolers.
No, it was kings to tens when tens opened and folded to a 3-bet. That was very memorable.
And then ace, that was, yes, exactly. Veskrensky got rid of it here, and this could work out well for him. Splendid.
Oh, this is interesting because you might see a shove here, which would really kind of make sense versus. Wow, I'm actually shocked that he didn't shove. I mean, good timing, but I think a lot of players would have chosen to shove versus the chip leader raising on the button, whose range is so wide.
Yeah, I think this is going to potentially just be a miracle getaway. I don't think that's going to in a vacuum work out super well against Veskrensky as well, who's going to be opening wider than
I'd
like to see a shove, but as it plays, we'll call this the free roll.
Good for me. Splendid's my guy. Good for me.
Splendid's dodging it. Now he gets ace-9 and gets a good spot to just take it down. So a little bit of a free roll.
Yeah, he earned it. All right. You got Veskrensky. Is Jack Jackson? Is that your third guy? I know the Brazilian guys. Who was your other guy?
I had that. You had Aaron's, Garby, and I did take Jack, right? Because I went chalk. You left him up.
Yeah.
And I took as my second.
Yeah,
so I got almost 8 million chips in play, and you've got about 4, right? You got Jans and Ravid.
No, I got a little bit more. About 5.
Oh, I'm sorry. You have Splendens too. Yeah, 5. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty close. 3 guys, 2 guys, but
all right. Yeah,
we're in there making good picks so far. 5 of the 6 are players that are in right now, 6-handed. Yeah, I think
surprised that 10 Jack check this turn. I thought he would have. I thought this is like a much better spot to bet. This would be like a sexy check raise.
Yep. Unblocks the heart, so he could, potentially check raise and then fall through. Maybe thinking,
a lot of equity too.
As well, going to have a tough time without a 9 or a 7. So
nice,
very well done.
Very nice.
Going for it. And Ravid not going to love this.
Very nicely played. I like that. That is very, very nicely played.
You can see Jack Johnson. You see on the right, it does put out fans the statistics of players, shows their lifetime stats on GG. Pretty cool. Kind of gives you a look into the HUD, the heads up display on their game plan. And It's interesting to see the lifetime earnings there, 42,000. Again, Jack, one of those sort of unknowns. Only today, interesting, maybe the lowest ever. Only 2 repeat champions that have been here. 3-time winner Jans Aarons and 2-time Ravid Garbi. Every other player who entered the final table had not won a GGMillion title. So 2 out of 9 having done so. And currently Jans is still here and Ravid. So now 2 out of 6. So 4 out of 6 players have not won before. It is hard to win, right? Eugene, you've done it. You played live. You've gotten, I'm sure, many
Super
seconds,
hard.
thirds, fourths. You've won some big events, but you've also
Yeah.
been close. And to close it out, there's just nothing quite like it. Tournaments is a tough thing to do for a living because most of the time you're disappointed. Even those seconds, thirds, which pay handsomely, they still you don't sleep quite the same as the trophy pillow.
Because you're so close to that big,
Right.
big money and the
jump. It's
you know,
also
and
the
trophy.
title, all that thing. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what makes tournaments both torturous and fun at the same time.
Yes.
Like
yes.
the rare time that you do win, you feel so good for so long. It's like an incredible feeling, and then you're always like chasing it. It's like because it's so nice to win a tournament.
King 10 suited, ace 2 soft. King 10 has the best hand, has a good card here to call. I think bluff catch as well, blocks some stuff going on here. And if we know his MO, he's going to take a shot. I think ace 2 soft, one of the worst hands he can have here as played to this point on the river. And Jans may just get a nice check call. I mean, listen, it's not an easy call if he does bet, but I think that Jans
Not easy at all. I mean,
is going to consider very much so.
Wow.
Consider this.
I mean, he can credibly represent a queen, a hand like king queen or queen jack that c bets the flop. So the queen is definitely a good card to bluff if you're going to choose to bluff. So it's not an easy call for Jens for sure.
I think part of the thing is he's thinking, would he bet Jack Queen? Would he bet Queen King on this?
Exactly, yeah, because
So,
the straight draw got there.
Yeah, you kind of start thinking about, does he have 8? I block King Jack, and look at this, just turns it into a just stone bluff. Has the best hand, thinks outside of the box, not just hey, I might be bluff catching, but maybe I get a queen to fold now, or a strong hand. So that is, again, he didn't need to do it, but he goes the extra mile and puts it on the line, and that is a very, very cool hand. Yeah, there has been John G in the chat. What's up, man? Good to see you. Been some very sick bluffs today. I would say there's been some highlight bluffs today. Definitely some very cool hands. This is GGMillion. Almost, I don't think I've ever left the show on a Tuesday and I'm like, you know what? It just there wasn't that many exciting hands. It's pretty much always there's something memorable. But today there's been some still 6-handed, lot to play for, some very interesting hands already, and appreciate everyone tuning in. Let us know where in the world you're watching from. Going to queue up the giveaways here shortly, and please go to my Twitter, Jeff Gross Poker, tag Eugene in there, and you guys can retweet and comment on the pick. Who that'll be how I know you're watching right now. You can pick who do you think is going to win. Type the name of the player you believe, the prediction, who's going to win, and then I will pick a $50 cash giveaway. I didn't put it in the wording on Twitter, but I'm going to choose after the show, and I'll PM you directly, so you have an advantage that if you're watching now, you'll get to see that and know. And do appreciate everyone hit the thumbs up. We see a very, very intense final table. I got to say, Vez Krensky still, I feel that's a good pick. Not like it's a rocket science pick. He's chip leader. He's chipped up, but he does seem to be in nice control. Jan's showing us his class and his ability and willingness to win there with that King 10 play. Yeah, just that's what I know. I got to do a little more brushing up. When you see plays that you're like, oh, do you think he'll do this? And then they do something that's not even on like the multiple choice list that you weren't considering doing. And then it's just like, all right, yeah, that makes sense. I see why he did that. And sure, we see the hand calling makes sense and would have been right. But what about the times where you lose to a hand that is value betting that then can't call the shove? And that is when you start finding those outlier situations and moments. And that is something very cool. That was a very, very, very nice hand by Jans.
Oh, nice. That's a nice bluff.
All right. Well, as we see in Hold'em, hard to make a pair. No one with a pair here. Ace Jack suited, the best hand going to open, and probably not much to play with. I guess for the Skrensky King 10 off, that's in a world with a limp, could either call or attack.
Yeah, makes sense. Because the stack to pot ratio is much deeper now. When it's just an open limp rather than a raise, so position matters more.
King 10, 10-3, ace jack suited.
Might be a reasonable. This might be a reasonable bluff because with king of hearts, you know, he might bluff and then continue bluffing on hearts. But okay, he chooses to check.
Yeah, I think I would have. Yeah, that would have been for sure an interesting one to bet. But also, I think he realizes that the limps are maybe he has more pairs like 9s or 4s or 2s.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
decides
yeah.
to like, all right, let me start getting moving here, and now pairs the 10.
Yeah,
And
like the limps might be strong, so he might have been afraid of the limp. I get that.
yep,
This
goes
is
big here.
interesting. Wow, fun is just check folds instantly, and 3. Good for him. Because he could be facing hands like, you know, Queen Jack or King Jack still, you know, that are betting this card. But definitely a very tough spot with 10-3. And, you know, was correct this time to check fold.
Yeah, that is again splendid. He's sort of been, like I say, he's on a free roll a little bit. At some point, you got to take a stand and get involved on a spot. But he passed ace 9, would have been out the door to ace queen, as we saw the queen high flop.
Yeah.
Would have been basically out. And then there, 10-3 does get away from top pair on the turn, which not everyone's going to be going to fold, at least there. And ace queen again, just not the easiest hand to play. The ace of spades.
Interesting spot for ace 9. Yeah, with the ace of spades.
And a 9. This has got all the properties of
how to bluff this. Yeah. Yeah, and how to bluff this. Is he going to go for a check raise, but like they're not so deep, so maybe it's better to bet. It's actually can choose a lot of different lines. So I expect if he sees a small bet, I expect probably a check raise from ace 9, but Ravid wisely checks. And now it's weird. Now it's like you're probably just looking to get the showdown with ace 9. So, are we just going to see check check?
Yeah, this has been, it's, I would say we saw a couple big knockouts early, and then the two Brazilians bowed out as we then go to this duration of the tournament where it's gotten a little bit, you know, the blinds are getting ready to, when they kick up, it gets obviously less deep and more action, but everyone's sort of, you know, just sort of waiting for people to make a move. And we see Veskrensky hovering on 5 million all of a sudden. So he has now chipped up nicely, starting to separate himself a little bit, double the second place, really tight for that middle second, third.
Yeah, he's more than double anyone else.
Yep. Yeah, right about double jack and sort of a little more double than Jan's, and very similar stack with I Am Businessman as 8s on the jack deuce. Interesting flop, flush draw there, 10 and over, so pretty fair fight here.
Yeah, we can expect to see some actions here. And also interesting that Jans didn't 3-bet the big blind, which I think makes sense, you know, given that there's like 2 stacks that are shorter than him. Pre-flop.
Does call, not check raise on the flush draw board. He has the diamond, 8 of diamonds as well. King misses both players, 10-7 suited, 10 high, flush draw.
Tough card.
Draws now.
Yeah, tough card for Jans. If he's facing a bet here, it's very tough to continue. I'd be very curious to see whether he does or not. Interesting that Jack decides to take a free card.
Well, that is going to make it a lot easier with the king check turn.
Yeah.
Pretty confident.
Absolutely. Definitely would have wanted to see what Jans would have done versus, you know, facing a turn bet.
So now he goes, and you know there are some ace highs here. There are some flush draws that
absolutely
make sense where you could get hero called, but also some lower pairs might call. Nice pot. Jan's up to 2.6 million. He has now taken over in second. Excuse me. We saw him start in third. So all our the 1, 2, 3 stack are maintaining that through 6 left. So after 3 have left. So it hasn't been, last week we saw a lot of shakeup. This week, not much. It's been pretty chalk. As we said, Brazil and Austria, sort of the most represented countries in this format of GGMillion every weekend. This week we saw 2 Brazilians, see the Austrian there, flag being represented from Jans, as we are still again 6-handed. Anyone stand out? Any moments so far at this stage of the tournament that you say was like wow, or that kind of surprised you?
That really surprised me? No, I wouldn't say so. I mean, we've definitely seen some really, really interesting hands, I think, so far. But for the most part, people are playing pretty safe. I guess the only other thing is like, that stands out is like the number of limps that we've seen, like the open limps, which have been unusual. Oh, look at this! We're gonna see fireworks here.
Yeah, this is in the cooler. There's really no way out. This is going to be all in pre-flop. No matter how you cut it. This stack.
I'm trying to think of a way where it doesn't, but there's no way.
He just rips, and honestly, Jack's never folding, but I'm sure he's a little bit worried about flipping.
He was like fist bump to calling, but then
Ace Queen generally going to be good there. It's behind Diamond's turns. A little bit of an interesting card. Put some straight draws. Diamond though.
Jack or 7.
And that is a queen.
Wow.
And that is a nasty one as the queen does arrive. He had the queen of diamonds, so he had all 3 the queens available. Jack and Splendens fought, free rolled his way to a couple good folds that he got out of the way, and ultimately got it in good just to get got on the river. Pretty nasty moment there for him, but a good showing. Splendens, well done. 6th place, nice score, as we are now all guaranteed 100,000+. Those 5 players remaining. Veskrensky getting walks. I'm sorry, going to open the ace-10 off, and now sort of in control at 5.2 million here in the big blind. He opened under the gun, ace-10 off, and there's ace-king. And man, those hurt, right? Those are, you don't make a final table every day in the GG.
Yeah.
It's a 10K buy-in. You're in there, you're having fun. You make a kind of great fold.
Making good decisions.
A couple good spots, keep you in the tournament just to get it in, dominating, and then lose. And that is, listen, poker, there is some luck, there's skill, there's a mix of everything, and that was a moment that no one really likes to see, but it's part of the game. And for Jack, he welcomes the 3.5 million. He is in 2nd place with 5 left. Going to cue the giveaway here. Once we get over 100 thumbs up, we got 58 so far. Good to appreciate everyone doing that, and I hope you're having fun. And we will again be back next week and have another big show, big guest. And I think, man, I got to say, this has been. Got some big plans for the GGMillion coming up in the next season. This is, again, election day in the U.S. I saw a couple T's, couple K's for Kamala and Trump, and some people may not want to say, but what's your thoughts on the election, Eugene, over there from afar? What's the stereotypical, if you would, with your kind of peer group, or just maybe even just give me like an overview of politics or news? What is the narrative in your region?
I mean, I'm living in Ukraine, so obviously everyone's kind of like, looking forward to the U.S. elections to end one way or another, just because I think it's going to dictate a lot of what happens here to a large degree. So that's definitely interesting. I mean, I feel like the whole world is kind of looking at these elections. These are like really, really important elections, that maybe the most important elections we've had in a very, very long time. Certainly seems like it to me. So I feel like the scary thing is like what happens when, certainly, one side's going to win. Like, how is the other side going to react to this? And, for that reason, whatever side wins, I just hope it's decisive. I hope it's a decisive victory for one side or another, because I think it's, it's going to get tricky if it's close. I think it'll just be better for everyone if it's decisive. What do you think?
That's a great point. Yeah, when it's left and there's this challenging, or it feels rigged, or this and that, which I guess at this point, I do think it's going to come down to the wire, and I do think that ultimately this isn't going to be one of those like shake hands, bow out moments. Like, this is going to be, there's going to be some ill will, right? This isn't going to be be like, do your best thing. It's sort of, there's a lot on the line in a lot of ways. I mean, the Trump assassination, 1/4 millimeter head turns, shaved the head. Like, that's where I'm like, not when Elon Musk says it's 1 billion to 1 that we're living in the matrix, like that, more saying that we are, it's
that was
1 billion times more likely than not. Like, that is where you're just kind of like, all right, like that's stop, and honestly,
it just doesn't even make sense. This is a real world.
Like, it doesn't even make sense. Real?
Yeah.
But like, if he had gone down there, to think about, like, because people are making memes and it's sort of like, wow, that was close. And like, kind of like, if he had what that would have happened, how crazy everything would have been in the country and stuff. Like, I don't know, man. There's just so much happening right now. It's like
mind blowing.
Really it is.
Everything that's happening is just so interesting. The world is so interesting. I mean, it's kind of scary at the same time, but it's also so interesting at the same time. It's fascinating. I don't know. I'm definitely, after we're done here, I'm definitely going to be watching, what following the elections and seeing what's going to go on, what's happening there. Very curious.
Agreed. Completely agree. This is ace jack going to just kind of decisively turn the jack in that hand against the player. He does bet it.
Look,
5-5 king, not like
and look at that. Now he's almost at 5 million as well. I mean, now it's like we've got like 2 big chip leaders, both your guys. So looking really good for you.
Yeah, 4.3. They really are vacuuming chips, although still plenty to play. Still a lot can happen as we see the 7-9. So a little different strategy as the blinds are up in the different stage of the tournament. He does start attacking with a weak holding out of
and he's picking like the 4th place out of 5th place because he knows he's going to play tight. Looking for to move up potentially so that Ravi could bust before him. So
yeah, exactly. That 9th to 8th
Makes
or
sense.
8th to 7th pay jump, not so significant as you can see here. The 5th place to 4th, it starts getting more interesting, right? You're talking about what 33,000. So it's 3 buy-ins, and I think that's also, these are all things to consider at different stages of the tournament. I would just say again, Viskrensky, sort of how his mind's working, his in tune play, and as we said, he's third time in a row. And last week on the show, that was one of the talks was like, hey, will he adjust? Because the week before he was so aggressive. People see that, they kind of know that. And then now 1 week later with a lot of the same players or people that play, is he gonna shift his strategy as he was just on the feature, just on the final table? People are looking, and he seems to have these gears. It's like fold 10s, get out of the way, check raise this day. People know he's aggressive, but he's aware of his image. And that's one of the things in poker I think is the most critical, is to understand how you're perceived. And that's sometimes hard because when you're at a table, there's not a lot of time, right? To like, you make it 30 hands or an hour or two to kind of feel, how do you think that you're perceived? And you get little clues on that, but that is, I think, one of the intangibles, one of the things in poker, the great players really are aware of how they are looked at in the moment.
In
at
a
the table.
huge
like,
way.
And it changes.
Especially here, because because you can actually watch alongside like the replay of the final table as you're playing it. Even with a 30-minute delay, you can pick up a lot of information. And you have to realize that your opponents are likely observing this as well. So if you're never bluffing, or you're bluffing too much, or you're bluffing certain spots, at some point you have to recognize that your opponents are also aware of this. So it's interesting how people will adjust to that as well.
I agree. It's great points, and it's why, again, one of the more fun parts of the game is exactly this, is to understand that. And I think that I really do think that's one of the keys in poker is understanding that and viewing that and being able to shift and tell. Because again, Eugene, you might be perceived one way, your poker game back when you played it on, and now you're back. It's like, what do people think of you? And like, what do they think?
Yeah, exactly.
Tight? Are you loose? Are you aggressive? How are you playing? And whether you are or not, how you think they think is key. And the players are able to.
What I think is it may be completely different than what other people think. So it's like, my job is not to, focus so much on me, but as always, focus on your opponents. Try to figure out how they think.
Yep. Yes, that is exactly right. That's also why I'll tell you, what game comes to mind. I'm sure you've been at the table when this is played over the years. That game, the beautiful game that was created and one of the best gambling games there is. You know the game where you basically, this is sort of like the idea behind it.
Which game? Which is that?
Thinks.
Oh yeah, exactly, yeah.
That is, I think, the greatest gambling game. That was with Antonio Esfandiari, Phil Locke, Johnny Lydon was at the table. They basically used to pick the brain, and you decide. You can say, what do you think the population of Las Vegas is? And there's a real answer. There's a census. There's a thing, but it's not that. It's what does the brain? What does this person think? And you bet on that. So like, it's very interesting, and that's cool to like get to feel. And probably one of the best in the world is Antonio, right? He's played it so much. He's done a lot of questions. He understands. But I mean, there's so many times I've been at the World Series maybe 6-7 years ago when he was playing a lot. We were there, and I'd be there, and like the game would come up, and he would just, he was dialed in. Like that game, he really picked off people, and like, it shows you how you're thinking.
Yeah, because it's not about knowing the actual answer. It's just about knowing how whoever you choose to think about the answer, how they're going to approach it.
Yes, exactly right. That is a great trainer for that game. And here we go, ace 10, 6 deuce suited. Definitely a hand we could see get shot up here, Jack, based on his game, his I guess suited. He decides it's got some little more playability, doesn't want to get blown off it, but those are some of the hands you might see on a limp shoot up, right? One of the sort of merging of your best and worst hands, and doesn't do so. And here he goes. He's just gonna get out of the way. No problem. Ravid hasn't really got it going today. I think he's got some pretty tricky situations. He's got dealt second best. We saw aces to tens. He could have lost more there.
He made that one bad fold. He made that one poor fold. He made that one bad fold, remember, with ace 10?
Yeah.
I think things kind of went down for him after that.
In the moment, in the game, I think that, that I could see why. I just think that, I was a little surprised that he just didn't go check call there. Burnsy in the house. Good to see you, man. That's 10 years, I think, Burnsy, since streaming on Twitch and been around and in the mix. Thank you for coming in. Hope to see you more often. There's some familiar faces today, as we are going to see a winner. And as I mentioned, now there is 5 remaining. We have 2 former champions left. 2 started today out of 9, and they are still in Jans and Ravi. Queen deuce suited. This is interesting as a overcard and flush draw. And if you're
but I think Jackson knows that Ravi almost never has an ace, because he limped pre-flop, and with like 11, 12 or whatever, 13 big blinds that they were playing, he was likely going to shove almost any ace. So he can feel pretty comfortable here with his tens. The king is a little bit tricky, but I think it's kind of same thing applies. Probably expecting to be up against a lot of 8x, 4x, or flush draws.
Yeah, nice bet. Nice turn bet. Definitely not.
Yeah.
For all the reasons you mentioned, I think it is a pretty good bet, but not one that everyone's going to find. And look at this. Completely robbed here. As I don't know if he's gonna, I don't really see, I guess, could he ever follow through on here? I don't know, with this particular run out, and his hand gets called twice. And
now is he gonna turn it into a bluff? I don't think it makes sense. I think it just goes check here. Yeah.
Big card for Ravi. That was a nice bet on the turn from Jack. Got a little bit unlucky, but again, the equity has 12 outs, 2 to come. Pretty fair fight. Does get to showdown, and we are up to 20 blinds for Ravid at 40-80. As again, no one's super short, but a lot of play still available. Five-handed poker. Ranges are different. Who's going to loosen it up? Who's going to go for it? We also, again, there's 2:45 on the shot clock or should I say chess clock for I Am Businessman, as that is potentially going to come into play. No one else really short. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. Jack has 1 minute. So that we definitely could see a shot clock hit 0. Very, very favorable that happens today, which does make things a little bit interesting. A little something else to consider. I think they do this. They've done it before. The Sleet Selection live. They've done this for the GGMillion when they were doing it live at some stops, and I do think it's an interesting dynamic. I asked some of the players who've been on the show that play and ask them, does it factor in down the stretch, right, with like 2 tables left or near the final table bubble, to if you're in second or third, to try to how big of a difference does it go to? Do you try to like make a little extra push to get it? I mean, it's a slight advantage, right? Not huge, but definitely good to have that. The last.
What have your other guests said? Have they liked this?
They like it. They just, no one's like saying, they're willing to like risk, bluff, go crazy and go for the if it's close between 1 and 2, they're not going to put it all on the line to be chip leader, but there is a bit of strategy to understand that how big that matters. It does make a difference, of course, to get like direct position on the second stack, for example, and worth considering down the stretch to think about that, but it matters. It probably adds a couple percent.
Meanwhile, very interesting spot here. Jan's got lucky on the river, rivering 2-pair, and versus a big bet size. Let's see. I guess he's gonna find the check raise. It's a little bit thin, but I'm guessing it's probably will.
Queen 8, Queen 9. What a run out there for Skrensky. And I honestly, Jan's with, I'm sorry, run out for Jan's really going to get to put in the value bet there. And I mean, man, with the 9, got the.
Yeah, it's like what hands can Jan's have that are, that have showdown value that are not going to, that are bluff raising? I mean, he could have hand like 6-7 or 5-7. 5-9 or 6-9, but all right. Both my guys making a little comeback versus your guys.
Yeah, chips chips are moving there. 2.5. We got 4.6, 3.7. Still, I like my position and not over by any means. As we see 7-8 suited jacks, could he misstep here? Just calls, okay. And
oh, interesting flop.
Board, yeah, could get him in a little bit of trouble. Hitting a 7 or 8 could be problematic.
Backdoor flush draw
could be huge for him, but yes, an 8, for example, would send a lot of chips to Jan's, I think. And this is a nice flop for Jan's, understanding he's got a lot of suited broadways, some lower pairs, mid pairs, but I mean, Viskrensky, I think that's too much flop to go away on the flop. So he's going to call at least one. Didn't get a diamond, didn't get a 6, 7, or 8. And Jack's
it's probably over here unless Jans decides to check back. Then he might win a river bet. He checks back. But although, I don't know. I would probably prefer to bet. Yeah, I like the bet here.
Yeah, targeting 6s, 7s, 8s, even 9s, maybe something like that. And then again.
Yeah, or even some ace X's, like ace 3s, ace deuces, ace 4.
Yep. I don't think he's going to have too many king X. I guess like king, queen suited with backdoor flush draw. Maybe that would be one of the few hands he could have that calls, does that, but not many. Feels confident. Nice bet. Takes it down 3 million now and tightens it up with Viskrensky and Jack all there. Pretty healthy. Ravid, our short stack, going to open 8s for a min raise off basically 20 bigs on the dot. No adversity. We'll do the $50 giveaway here.
We saw him fold 7s. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, just and we're 5-handed now. 7's going to be looking a little better, but businessman, got a 7s pitch early, and he's played a pretty solid game today as a jack, ace 6 off. Just goes for the rip here, 20 blinds. It's the Greg goes all in, good luck emoji, but queen 8.
You can get him a little sweat. Yeah.
Will not be calling. All right, we're up 50, 100K. So big level here coming now. Everyone a little shorter. 16 blinds, 17 blinds for Ravid, 42 for our chip leader, and a little bit easier to do the big blind math. I know we get asked that. Can you put it in big blinds? There is a, I believe, feature within GG, but on here for the GGMillion, they do keep it in the chips. A little more exciting to see the numbers, right, than like put in 42 or whatever. It is a nice feature.
Yeah.
Quickly have that.
For sure. I think for the audience, perhaps it's better to see all chips.
Yeah. Queen 3 suited, small blind, big blind. This is fun to watch. Two of the best, two of the sharpest minds in the game, battling, tangoing in here. And again, the Viskrensky with the 3-5 off. This could be in the bucket for the raise. I think one of the worst ones that's not suited.
Could be, yeah. Yeah, you're right.
On sort of with what like a medium one, the Queen 3 suited, not thrilled to fold, but he does just avoid adversity. And one of the power components there with the 3-5 off, you get a hand just like that, Queen 3 suited, that is dominating you to fold. So nice pickup here. King 7 off. Likely going to lean. We saw this before, right? With the picking on the 4th when there's 5 left, and King 7, sort of a big high card, nice property to raise, and not a lot of playability, just gets it done. And Viskrensky is working right now. He's really in his element, chipping up. A6, yeah, 4.5. Peaked about 5 million. Jans took a little bite out of that stack. Jack back to 3.6. He had it on the line with nines earlier. Would have been potentially flipping in with 6 left, although ace jack suited Jans turned into a bluff and then folded, so he didn't have to put it on the line. But he's definitely played a lot of hands. He's been active and going for it today, I'd say, on the more aggressive side.
I think that he folded king jack here. I thought I might see a 3-bet in the king jack.
Yeah, out of position. Sees a couple of much shorter stacks. I think that money starts getting real too. When there's 5 left, you start looking, you're in third, and it's 150 versus 190, right? For third versus 116, and you start looking what your stack might be worth, and it's a lot of money on the line here. Also, just one of the players that isn't a regular. We don't see a ton of him, as queen 10 gonna miss. Ace jack, pretty good flop here. And he is hovering at the minute mark for the chess clock there. And you're not eliminated if that hits. It just means that you are limited to 5 seconds per street. So that is definitely not where you want to be, but also not eliminated. That would be super interesting if you just got knocked out, if your chess clock hit. So
that'd be a whole new game. Maybe we'll see that in a few years.
Squid Game. That's exactly right. New iterations, knockouts, mystery bounties, big blind ante, definitely iterations of the game. But that would be something else. And then getting a walk. That's when things are working. You get the jack deuce off. You're getting bad hands, getting walks. 4.9. 5 left with pocket 5s in the small blinds. No one really anything here. Not much to play with the jack 4 suit in the big blind, though, off of 20 blinds.
Yeah, there's not much of anything. I probably just going to rip here, I'm guessing. Yeah.
Yep, 5 million on the dot gets it through. And again, not much of a hand for anybody. Ravid with 13.6 big blinds, queen it off. He's thinking about, I don't think this one is the one.
Yeah, I don't know there's much to think about. Queen 8, yeah, interesting.
Yeah. Gotta have a few bluffs off that stack that you want to open wide, but that's getting a little too out of.
Probably not that one, yeah.
Out of that,
maybe more like king X or ace X.
Yeah. King deuce off gonna limp. 4th place stack. Bit of a risk premium to go out when Ravid's shorter, although they're pretty close. And here, Jack with the 9-4, he is gonna use this situation to his advantage. And see if that's gonna work. If I Am Businessman is gonna get out of the way. Could make a small 3-bet. Maybe be a little cheeky. Realizing exactly that's a
oh, nice, very nice. Utilizing the blocker, very nice. These are cool plays. I always like to see these kinds of plays and how people find like the creative things with especially with shorter stacks.
For sure. Well, we are 5-handed. We will play to a winner, and we will be right back after a short message from Daniel and the Bahamas.
In case you haven't noticed, we're into breaking records at the World Series of Poker. Bigger and better is just how we roll. We did it this summer, as you saw, with the main event. Speaking of the main event, the WSOP just had a super idea for this year's WSOP Paradise in the Bahamas. For the first time ever, WSOP will host the super main event, a $25,000 buy-in with the biggest guarantee in the history of poker. Wait, is that number right? 50 million? What? 50 million? You guys are nuts, for real. Huge prize pools, massive water slides, fun for the whole family, and the chance to hunt bracelets with the beautiful backdrop of the Bahamas beaches just a few sandy footsteps away from the poker room. 15 bracelets will be on the line with buy-ins ranging from $2,500 up to $1 million. Yes, you heard that right, a $1 million buy-in. The WSOP has partnered with the Triton Millions to bring the largest poker tournament in WSOP history back home. So what are you waiting for? Come make history with us again at WSOP Paradise.
All right, we are back five-handed after that message from Mr. Negreanu, who was on the show just a few weeks ago for that 1.9 million to first. I believe that was when Sergio Edu took down. He's had quite a year, and as I mentioned, there is satellites running on GGPoker on Sunday, 50 guaranteed. What's it? 30K packages. Wow, 30K package. That's a 26K entry plus 14 days at the luxurious 5-star Atlantis Resort in the Bahamas, Nassau. That is right there, and that is again, very cool place. Eugene spent a lot of time there. I have spent a lot of time there, and that is something that is hopefully going to be seeing you guys down there, whether you satellite or go down. It's a really cool place to hang out, play. There's other side events, 2500s. I know there's multiple, I believe 15 bracelet events from December 6th to the 19th, so that is going to be a very exciting time. Hopefully I will see some of you down there. And yeah, I think man, what a prize pool. 50 million guaranteed. I don't know if we'll ever see something quite like that in 25K again. We'll see how it goes. Maybe it just shatters a guarantee and they just bump it next year. That's what GG does. Push the limits online and live, and it's always very exciting.
Look at this flop.
So, yeah, this is all you can ask for Jack 5 suited. And this is I Am Businessman's gonna have a lot of chips or be out in fifth, most likely. Robbie's going to like to see the sweat here, as I guess he's just going to go for the check raise. He's got enough equity against any hand, and he's going to force folds from some hands. We did see a big bet fold earlier as well, and he does just call as the king comes. Going to scare queens a bit, but still, again, sort of like the property of last situation. It's not really many king X the player has here, right? He calls flop, going to be stuck on a 9 or some 5 combo draw.
Yeah, unless it's a sort of king high flush draw. I'm also surprised. Yeah, I mean, I think it's probably fine. It just makes it a little bit tougher to play.
So now though, does he have fold equity? Now you might just be stuck to just calling, right? Looking for a jack 5 or a spade. You really
you can't fold. On the turn. Interesting.
Oh, wow. I mean, to be fair, it's crazy that it actually might work, because the king arrives and now he bets and gets shoved, and there's 2 flush draws.
I like it. I like it. This
could have great. Some. Yeah, what combo draw, like 10 jack of spades or queen 10 of spades, but you would think those. Well, he has the queen of spades. I don't know. I mean, this is tough, man. This is a really tough.
It's a cool bluffing hand. This jack 5 suited is a cool bluffing hand on the turn here. It's like you check call the flop, and yeah, this is a really cool bluffing hand. He gets him to fold. This is amazing. Like really, really cool.
Wow. I mean, granted, he's got what, 14 outs, got 9 and 5, 14-1 to come. He is a pretty big dog, and the queen of spades is gone, so he's got.
And he's got the queen, and he's got a queen of spades, so he's blocking some like queen jack of spades type hands or queen 10 of spades type hands that he might think could be bluffing him, which makes it even tougher to call here. Wow, good call.
Wow, 70% favorite. Kenny Hold got a fade, a black card, a jack, or a 5, and he can do it. The ace of hearts, scary river would have been. He probably would have got the value there. And man, big shift in power there, as we see. I Am Businessman is in business with the chip lead, 4.6 million in terms of our wager. Chips are fluctuating now. It's a little more fair. You got about 4.5, and I have. What, 5.8? I'm around
a little more. Yeah,
6. It's tight now. Things are tight.
But definitely a big shift now. Definitely a big shift. Another open limp now from a very strong hand.
That hand is interesting as well. I'd like to tag that like 2 hour. Let's see.
Wow.
All right, that hand's on my notes. That is on the notes. Oh man, wow. Okay, all right, brand new game. Things are really. I mean, Ravid's short. Everyone else is pretty healthy here. Hope you guys are enjoying. This is really, really, really interesting shift. And Viskrensky, who was chip leader the whole way, finds himself now middle of the pack with 5 left. I think still, he's still fine. He's got plenty of chips. That's a bit upstuck, right? That term you're doing okay, but you feel like
Oh, look at
not
this.
where you need to be. And this has also got the makings of
We might see a shove here. Yeah,
it's
yeah.
gonna be shove call. And Jacks, can they hold? Can Ravid, who hasn't really got it going today, can he be back to 4 million and put himself as the chip leader? 8 high flop, not enough. Needs another 8 or an ace to the river. 88% favorite. Jacks, Ravid in the lead. Slow peel dealer. It is a club that's safe, right? Yeah, it's not. It's a
What?
3
No,
across,
it's a
but it's
6.
definitely safe because it's the 8 of clubs
Yeah.
is there, so it can't be that a 3 across. And that is a big moment. Ravid, a little bit of musical chairs, chip leader shuffling around now, being passed there to 4 million, and everyone's still healthy. 2 million now. Everything's tighter, consolidated. ICM is in full force as we see. Are you brushed up on ICM? Have you been studying, Eugene, or are you just kind of diving in?
Not quite. Just diving in and doing my best.
Love it. Me too. I'm in there.
But very interesting.
I'll tell you what, watching this helps a lot every week. You kind of start to
Yeah, absolutely.
get the flow on what's going on and what's acceptable.
The best way to learn.
Very interesting spots.
Wow, so it's now your guys who went from being chip leaders to now the bottom two, basically. The remaining 5.
Yeah, 4.5 chips available, and you've got that was a little flip of the script. I was getting ready to offer you a buyout. Didn't know what kind of dinner, how nice the place or where, but this is now all of a sudden moving out of my favor. But it's wide open. It is wide open, and we are ready to do the giveaway here in a second, guys. Once we hit 100, appreciate everyone who hits that thumbs up, and we will give you guys a $50 and then $100 ticket. And there is a chance that we see a 0 on the shot clock from Jack Johnson 9, who is our lowest shot clock, as well as I Am Businessman, with everyone else pretty healthy on the clock there. And yeah, I like the chess clock. Eugene, back in the day, we wasn't really much clocks, and this guy is just savage.
A beast.
Just crushed.
So good, so good.
Yeah, this is a very, very wide open final 5. I will say it's been interesting. Started fast, kind of tightened up for a bit in terms of the chips and flying around, sort of some jockeying, and now chips really moving. 50, 100K. You can see blinds going up to 60, 120 as well here in a second, as we're in a king 10, ace 10. Nice thin 3-bet ace 10 off for value here. It looks like he does decide it's the best hand, and he was right. Gets a fold. Ace 3 suited, 2 9s, too much hand here. Although, again, sort of the chip leaders, right? Do you want to just 3-bet this or probably flat?
I think they're looking to flat most of the hands. Yeah, you don't want to get involved with other chip leader in very, very close situations.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that 9's not good enough to decide to just take a stand and 3-bet, not fold or get involved. So, yeah, you don't want to get blown off. And he does get out flopped here, although ace 3 suited takes the lead. 9's going to want to maybe, depending how small peel, that's a little bit bigger sizing. That's not like a.
I think 9s are going to feel forced to call it. Oh, wow. I'm shocked, honestly, with the 9 of clubs, too.
It was a bigger sizing. He didn't go for 20% or something really small. He gave a little meat on there, and I think that it made it less enticing. He does have some broadways. He is doing okay against some hands, but got out of the way. Good fold. The first guesser does not automatically win the giveaway, but please only put it once. Don't need to spam. We will put the keyword in here very shortly. Ace, Jack, Queen 7 takes it down. I Am Businessman looking for his first title. 2 of 9 repeat prior winners, I should say. 2 of 9 prior winners. Now 2 of 5, Jans and Ravid. And look at that. They just find their way. Now Ravid, who has actually 2 titles, Jans with 3, is our chip leader, but not much between him and I am businessman. Queen 7 off, the computer hand that's called, you know that one, right? You know the nicknames? You got some nicknames?
Yeah, the middle hand, right?
Yep. And a heads up match, Queen 7 off, dead in the middle.
Blinds are up. Oh.
King 3, King 4, 10, 2, 7, 8 suited. Nothing much there. Nice little walk, but a playable hand up to 4 million chips. 3.8 and a ace jack and small here for I am businessman. Who's your, do you support a club? Is there a team that you really like, or do you follow along with the Ukraine national team, or do you sweat any soccer really?
I don't. I'm not really into it, to be honest.
Yeah, I know World Cup coming up here, 2026 USA. I haven't gone for a while. I'm looking forward to that. It's in Miami. They'll have games here all over the North America.
Oh, nice.
It's always a fun time
Convenient for you.
during the WSOP.
Yeah.
It's fun to watch, like sweat, play, be there, and that's always a fun summer when the World Cup is on right during that time. But this is yeah, I think let's see, 20. Yeah, so no, it's still another year, still full year and change, right? 25 still has to happen, and then 6. We got a ways. That was a great World Cup, though. The last one, man, that was fun. That was quite a final. That Argentina, France, and Dobrik. He's a great player. He's actually on Roma now. It's my favorite team. You know, the forward for Ukraine. He's like their best forward. He's on Roma. So I've been watching, following along pretty intently. He was a lead. You know that name or no?
I don't follow it at all, so I wouldn't know. Okay. Yeah, but it's cool. It's kind of cool that you know all this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, he's like I think he's a leading scorer in the last year for Verona, if I'm in the Spanish La Liga. He was the #1 goal scorer, and then he just went to AS Roma. But yeah, I'm gonna pick the winner, guys. Don't worry, we're gonna get it going here. As soon as we get the four-handed, we're gonna put the keyword in the chat, and we will draw the first 50 and then 100. So that is what is up for grabs. And I just want to remind last time that there is a satellite $1,500 for a 30K package, 50 guaranteed seats Sunday afternoon, GGPoker, and that is for the Bahamas, including the 14 nights at the Atlantis and a 26K entry into the 50 mil guaranteed. So anyone going there, let me know. Please say hi. We got Jax here. Nice hand. Jan's just clicking it. Doesn't have a hand from Ravid, and he was messing around, and Jans woke up, and now all of a sudden Jans is right there with over 3 million. This is some of the most even stacks we've seen five-handed. Jack, who was #2 to start, is now in 5th with 5 left.
Yeah, stacks are swinging.
Ace-9 suited, ace-jack. These are always, I like to watch too. When you watch, you get to see how hard it is to make a pair, even to have a draw and hold them. You know, it's there's so much bluffing, there's so much creativity.
Yeah.
Here with 2 strong hands. You know, ace-jack suited does have a gut shot. Ace-9 suited does not have any real equity and is dominated, but tough board for ace-jack just to continue, although does have a gut shot and can't have the best hand. Doesn't have a spade. And could hang on. It's a big bet.
Tough to continue, yeah, versus a big bet. It's tough to continue with ace-jack. Good bet.
Daylight savings just happened in the U.S. Does it at different parts of the world? It's different in different times and stuff. Do they do?
It's like a week. It's like a week. There's like a week difference. I think Europe does it like a week before the U.S.
Yeah, because it's funny in Brazil. Like sometimes it's where I go or stay with my wife's parents there. It's a 1 hour difference or a 3 hour difference depending different times how.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, ace jack dominating hands. And wins.
Back to kind of evenish stacks for a lot of people.
Yeah, this is tight. This is too close to call.
Yeah.
We haven't really seen any really huge coolers, right? There's been a couple.
Yeah,
like,
not in a while. Not for a while.
It's not been ace king to queens. We haven't seen kings to aces. There really hasn't been like a complete setup deck where it's just like GG.
Yeah, last one we saw was ace king suited versus ace queen. Remember, blind to blind. That was it.
Yep. And nines with a
monster raise.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, that was a bit. I mean, he's he's got the chip lead. I guess he's just seeing that, but that's
That's weird. That kind of raise is like
get played back at. You just get clicked. They get like, what are you doing with? Let's see if he comes with that with some other hands like ace four suited, or if that was just strictly sort of his mid pair kind of size and
one and done type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is the most chips we've seen from a player. 6 million now. Crosses the 6 million mark. Little Annie there and gets kings. Ooh, this is.
Oh wow.
Man,
this is probably going in. I don't see how this cannot go in.
Yeah, and now I am businessman conveniently
blinds
on the button. Just gonna go ahead and shoot it up. Is Krensky not someone who's scared? He's active.
He's probably gonna make a small 3-bet. Yeah. I don't see Krensky getting away from here. This is a very different spot than when he had tens versus kings. All right.
And there it goes. 5 million, 4-1 favorite. Kings, can it hold? Ace on the board always seems an ace coming. Turn equity
Juicy
now.
flop.
8 or a 9. Never easy river card. Just ripped it off like a band-aid. The ace safe. GG Veskrensky and Greg goes all in, rocking the GGs. 8.6 million now, and a excited Jack there who was in second now, shortest with fourth left, but gonna feel pretty good about his 149K. At least payday. See if he can spin it up. And look at this. I am businessman just showing us he's not afraid.
Deuce 5.
The deuce 5. He's going for the highlight reel today as he opens it up. Ace 4 thinking, is this my time? I'm the shortest. I might have the best hand. Do I take it now? 30
yeah, the
seconds.
deuce 5 recognizes that if the guy with 950K doesn't have a hand, the other two have to fold because they're all waiting for Jack Johnson to bust. So they're gonna have to play really tight. It's actually
but
good identifying the spot.
I think Jan's with obviously just one big blind closing the action. I think he's got to still peel here, right? Even though
he's oh wow.
Look at shove, aggressive move, but nice play.
Jan's is so good.
Definitely, not folding, understands it, and he does pick it up. So that was nice. We're down to 4. Let me cue the giveaway. We're gonna do a keyword here. Sorry guys, at $50 giveaway to start. Then we'll have 100. This is going to be it will be GGPoker. Let's put in Eugene. All right, there it is. That is the keyword. GGPoker space Eugene, and then enter your GGPoker username. I'm going to be a $50 ticket. We'll have 100 as soon as this one finishes. Appreciate everyone being here. Thank you guys for partaking. Once we hit 100 thumbs up, we'll announce it. And we are literally at that stage. 4-handed. It's getting exciting. We're seeing chips fly, and it is wide open, but a big advantage now for I Am Businessman, looking to get his first title. And he came in 7th place. We were talking about the ranking, the odds. That is a spot, right? That is a good value. This would have been a pretty good return on your money. Again, not over yet that he's going to win, but that is currently, he was in 7th and now in 1st. Started with sort of short stack too. What was his big blinds? I think he had, I believe he was like No, he did have 34 big blinds. It was a big jump between 9th, 8th, him 7th with 34. It's pretty tight in the middle. So maybe his price wasn't insane. But yeah, he's in a good position now, and he actually has the best hand on this flop in position.
Yeah. And my bet's looking good. I mean, you've got Jack Jackson left. All right, they're gonna get it in.
Yeah, it could be out, and it
see.
maybe I'm gonna have to fade the two. This is actually Jack 5 is a pretty big favorite, 80% now after the turn. Brick needs help on the river, and it looks like a slow. Oh, it's a diamond. So there it is.
Oh
though.
wow,
it's a 7.
he got there.
Couldn't have been the 8 or 4. It had to be the 7. That was all
dinner
right,
saved.
You were counting your dinner. You were counting your dinner, but it's not a last longer. One of your guys
I was already
has to
tasting
win.
it.
One of your guys has to win. It's not.
All right.
Oh,
Fine.
Yeah, so you're still you're in good shape. You're in good shape though. It's not over.
You're still alive.
Yeah. This is still wide open right now. And that was a big card there for Mr. Johnson. The 1.7 now, 140K big blind. So over 10 blinds still. As I said, I Am Businessman had 34 blinds and ace 4 suited for Ravid. Big card there for everyone, right? Would have been 3-handed, would have been a pay jump for the remaining players, would have been about $40,000 locked up. Instead, bit of a sweat still for Jans and Ravid. We got people in the chat putting in their keyword for the $50. Once we get to 3-handed, I'll do a $100. And appreciate everyone taking the time today. Hope you've had fun. We still got a bunch of poker to play here. Queen King suited. Pretty nice hand. Gonna likely just go ahead and rip this.
Yeah.
And Jack is back to 2.1 million, basically tied with Ravid and very close to Jans. And then we got ace 6. Ooh, if he rips it here, he might just rip it, right? With these stacks, 140.
Yeah,
okay.
I think so. Oh, okay. He just
could have done that. Wouldn't have worked well. At least would have been getting called. Instead, he's just going to get played back at and then just lose the min raise.
Right.
Four-handed poker. It is a lot to play for. 4th place, 150, first 312. So a lot of money still available in between the two. Blind on blind here. Ravid, queen 3 suited. Gonna limp. King deuce, definitely one of those ones we can see shoot up, right? That suited, unsuited gap, king high, nice card there. Gonna force some folds, and of course the ICM pressure, and just doesn't want to leave a chance for the check raise with something modest. He's just like, you know what? Let's go. I've noticed what stood out for me today for Jan's game is when there's options where I'm looking at where I feel like, it's what he's doing or what's going on. You kind of feel it. He takes like a different version of.
Yeah, like a more extreme.
Like, yes. Yeah, like just sort of like really asserts it. Like, all right, I'm just not taking any. Like he kind of takes away possibility for something to go wrong. And of course, once in a while where things are going to be not work the way he sees it, but at the same time, like he's forcing, I think, so much consistent results that are the way he sees it going. That is a my noteworthy point today has been watching that.
Yeah, I agree. I've also kind of learned a lot watching this table so far.
And how many of you at home are saying, man, if I just shove that king deuce, Ravid just has the aces there, or queens and limped on me, or ace king, right? Like trapped, but like the timing, the tempo, the situation, the understanding, and then just, again, being right so consistently. That's the impressive part, right? These guys just seem to get it right. They're just like, it's like they kind of just know. And here we go. He does decide ace 8 suited good enough to shove, not ace 6 off. And again, good timing there from Businessman, right? If he had shoved ace 6 off, would have got called, would have been in bad shape. Instead, a similar hand, but different, and then just gets the result. And here, ace 9 suited. He's got everyone to the exact, it's almost pinpointed the same stack. This is rare.
Yeah, it's like
to have 3 of the same stacks because he realizes if I double someone up, I still have about 5 million or 4.5.
Yeah, it's still chip leader, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
You'll still have the chip lead, actually, I think. Yeah.
does defend chip leading, Jack 5 suited, and against a hand that does plays got a bunch of equity. A6 suited going to come out on the deuce 3-3.
This might be an interesting check raise. He might choose. I mean, although I don't know how believable it is, but yeah, check call is fine too. He's got a lot of like backdoor draws.
All right, ace high is good if he's able to show it down with the check on the turn. I mean, I guess there are some traps, right? But yeah, Jack 5 suited just not interested. A6 going to be happy to show it down. And
Yeah, it's a tough bluff to pull off.
Yeah, it doesn't make a ton of sense. 2.5 million. Look at this three-way, basically all tied. 2.6, 2.7, 2.6, and this. I was gonna say this would not have worked if you just ripped the small blind, but as it turns out, Jans is going to. He might rip here. Let's see if he's going to min raise or rip.
Yeah,
He's
about 18
playing.
big blinds or so. He might. Thinking about it. Yeah, he ripped it. Wow.
Gonna be
your guy, my guy.
Whoa, this is the one. This is the one. Jans versus Jack. Ace 5 suited. Oh my
no.
Goodness. He finds the 5. Oh!
Oh wow, he finds the king.
Whoa. Roller coaster. That is a crazy run out. Full drama there. And man, that was after the 5, it just looks so nasty, and he finds the king, and there we go. Three-handed 5.5. All right, I'm gonna pick the winner.
You're back up.
Oh my goodness, that was wild. Wow. All right, $50 winner has been announced. It is Mariga. Mentally Evil, quite a username there. That's intense. And you have got yourself a $50 ticket, $100 coming up. Where are you from, Mariga? Where are you from? Where will you be playing from? That is a nice win. And now a $100 ticket. Got to be subscribed. Got to hit the thumbs up. We're at 78. Let's see if we can get it to 100. I'm going to put it in there as we are down to 3. This thing could move fast too, right? These chips are flying. People are jamming. Blinds are big. We are 2.5 hours in, coming up on. Let's see, GG, WSOP, Bahamas, and then we'll do that. And then enter. And you just need to put it one time. Don't need to spam it. We're going to do it right there. There it is, a $100 ticket, keyword GGWSOP, space Bahamas, space enter your GG Poker username. 5, 6, A7, and A7 going for a nice chunky bet. Ravi,
this would be a cool raise in the river. This would be a cool bluff raise. But blocking the straight and blocking the flush a little bit. This is really cool. This would be a cool bluff raise.
Yeah, and a hand such as one pair wouldn't love it. But do you have a lot of fold equity? I don't know. I mean, it's, I guess, yeah, but one pair hand targeting whether it's an ace or, I mean, this is.
Yeah, I mean, A7 would have a tough spot calling here if he shoves.
Having the really 7 is nice, but no spade. Yeah, I don't know. See if he goes for it.
Yeah, this is like, I feel like this is one of the like prime candidates maybe to bluff. If you're gonna have a bluffing range, on this river.
Yeah, also blocks 2 pairs. I mean, yeah, I think you're right. This is sort of. I think he's just thinking, do I have enough chips? Like he's gonna make it 1 point.
Yeah, I mean, he's risking 2.2 to 1.8, so almost 1-to-1. And it's like, is he gonna get his opponent to fold? At least 45% of the time or whatever, or 55% of the time.
Well, I love it. If he shoves and gets called, we will have for sure a new champion, because that means he's out. But also, if he shoves, he might just take it down. He calls. Okay.
Yeah, he decided to just call. Yeah, I mean, that's all right.
Yeah. Ravid gonna make a little misstep there. Now we got a 1-2 pretty even and a third place short Ravid. GG Poker space Bahamas space your GG Poker username, $100 ticket online. I'm gonna put my tweet out there, Eugene. If you were, you saw we got it. I'm gonna put it one more time here, boys and girls. This is also $50 cash giveaway. I'm gonna drop the link. All right, that's it. That's for the giveaways. We got 3 giveaways. All are in motion. Twitter, I'll pick right after the show. We'll PM you, and then we have got our $100 ticket coming up, man. And Eugene, were you one of those guys? I know you were on my podcast years ago. I believe you were number 128. I've done about 200, probably 4 years ago or so. I forget when we did that, but it was a long time ago. We covered a lot. Were you a $50, deposit or a free roll guy run up online? What was your start poker story?
I think it was like a small deposit and then just like playing like $5 and goes. That was kind of my story. Just like depositing like whatever, $20 or $30 and maybe a couple of times and just kind of running it up from there.
That's always the disclaimer I like to give with poker and getting stuff too. It's like, listen, I'm 38 now. Like if you have a family, you're 38 and you're like, oh, I like poker, I want to get into it. And you know what I mean? Starting and like coming in at like, oh, I'm gonna start playing 510 or 2550 or $1,000 buy-ins or $5,000 buy-in tournaments versus like really coming in at like 16 or 18 or 19 or 21, depositing very little, risking little, learning, taking your time. It's like a completely different situation than just like diving into poker like now. And also the game is obviously 20 years ago, changed a lot. And
very different.
So it's like, I can't really, when people ask for, oh man, this is a,
oh man, look at this.
Here. Look at that. Look at this bet size though. It's going to actually potentially work out for him because he's going to get,
he's just going to get called. Yeah.
Going to re-raise.
Wow.
Makes the nut flush, snap, rips it upstairs on him, and
oh wow, he folded. Good fold. It was a huge raise to be frank. But good
look
fold.
At this. What do we have here? Zeros on the shot clock for Jack Johnson, who is now has 5 seconds to act on every street, and we have 40 seconds. We could see a 0-0 shot clock matchup. Heads up. Ravid is our short stack, 3 left, and we are gonna pick the winner for the $100 ticket in a second.
Oh, we're likely going to see 2 all-ins here.
Ace 10 and King Queen. I mean, yeah, he's calling. This is on their backs cards. Ace 10, slight favorite. You can see the equity after the flop. King Queen now a big favorite. Ace 10 needs a ton.
My dinner-in-law looking good.
It is about 7%, 3 outs, 1 to come. Needs the ace space. Not the case, as it is a GG. The ElkY
for my dinner.
Getting some love there. Seen a lot of Greg Goes All In. I love the new Greg Goes All In emojis as we are down to heads up play, and we are gonna see a winner here. We're seeing a winner in a moment, and guess what? We have a new champion, and neither one of us is going to be selecting one of the winners, which is interesting because, oh no, I'm sorry, Jack Johnson.
No, you have Jack. You have Jack
for dinner.
Yeah, you're a free roll.
So like, and if not. You know what? I'm gonna give you businessman out of respect. I'm gonna give you, but it's fast food meal. If my guy wins, we're going nice. I'm gonna give you a free roll, fast food, free roll though. Free roll.
That's funny.
I think that's fair.
All right, thank you. Bonus. All right, I've earned like a burger, I guess, right?
Yeah, if he wins. Oh shit! The sevens, man.
Oh wow!
What's going on? This could be nasty. This could flip the script pretty quickly because these are monster hands. Heads up. Wow, pair. Oh, big pair over pair. Very rare to see on here, guys. At 100 thumbs up, we're gonna go ahead and announce the winner for the $100 ticket. We're at 81. Appreciate everyone tuning in today. And there it is, Queen Sevens all in, 11 million. This is over if a 7 comes. If it doesn't, we're gonna it's a 7 right away. A full house now. A queen or a queen only. This thing is over. Jack Johnson, no pain.
Wow,
that is your champion. He came in second. He was short. He got it done. He is a champion, and that is quite a performance with some absolute legends at this table. And Eugene, you just saw history for this man with a win, and he is absolutely got to be euphoric for that. What a performance and what a smoke.
Absolutely.
Always come 7. You've heard that. I think that was actually made in the Bahamas, that slogan, that name. And I have got the winner here, Proxy. You have won. Bad News Pyro, that is your name on GG. Good luck to you. Let us know where you're watching from. You have won. Drop that in the chat. And there's a look at it. The odds today, 5.66 to 1. I Am Businessman was about to cash in on a 12 to 1. If that hand had held, that could have been, he would have been a massive favorite. But Eugene, tell me what your thoughts are coming back into poker and diving into the highest stakes tournament going online, the GG Millions, the Champions League of Poker. What was your experience today? What is your takeaways?
Yeah, this was really fun. Thanks, Jeff. And I've definitely learned a lot. I mean, I feel like I should probably watch more of these final tables, especially before playing myself. I think you pick up a lot, you learn a lot, and then it almost like inspires you to practice and try this stuff in your own game. So definitely encourage others to do the same thing.
Yeah, that's like I said, for myself, when I see like players like Jans in spots where I'm like, man, this, and then they do that, and I'm like, oh, okay, I didn't really consider that option, and then you think why they did it, and then you start to piece it together. It does help, and it's a competitive world out there. And again, reminding everyone, this Sunday on the GG client, there is 50 packages for the 26K. 50 million guaranteed. Yes, 50 million guaranteed. December 6th to the 19th in the Bahamas. That is at the Atlantis 5-star resort, and it is going to be an amazing tournament there. Hope you guys get to go down, check it out, and if you do, please say hello. I will see you there, and I will also see you next week on the GG Millions. Same time, same place. Reminder, daylight savings did happen, so now we are live 1 hour earlier. That is at 1:15 Eastern, and we will have another major guest and, of course, major prize, major players. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you next Tuesday at 1:15 Eastern. Eugene, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it. Can't wait to have a dinner coming up here and enjoy. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. It's on me. Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate it. Thanks, everyone, for joining. Bye.